Before we get started, I just want to give a friendly reminder that the Degenerates Among Us podcast would not be anything without my brothers. So please go follow them on their social media account. Links will be in the description. My social media account on what's going on, giving you guys updates and whatnot, is in the description box below. So check it out as well. Also, there are timestamps in the description box. So please check that out. The description box basically has everything you would need. So go check it out. If you want to skip through a particular topic, you can go to the description box and skip on through. Because I got to admit, this episode was a little bonky, a little all over the place. So please forgive us. Special shout outs go to my homeboy Andre for keeping us degenerates kind of in contain. But it is what it is. If you like what you saw in this episode, don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to have more content coming soon. Thank you, and let's begin the video. Listen. I don't appreciate y'all coming at me with that, all right? Fuck y'all, all right?
I'm still trying to fight for my life for my 3080. I got like 800 saved up for it.
Well, when you accidentally do what I did and just accidentally,
there will be no accident.
Try not being poor.
I will definitely notice if I'm spending an extra $700.
It was a complete accident. I did not mean
my
to.
My heart broke. My heart was like, I had already saved plenty of enough money to rebuild my PC, and I was like, my heart broke just letting that 50 go. I had to pay rent like very soon after that.
Don't worry, you got your bros. You got your bros. Y'all don't have to pay the rent.
Shut up.
I was right.
All right,
yes, it does.
Like, what are you talking about?
All right, let's just stop joking around. Let's start the fucking podcast, because, we got to get this shit on the road. So, episode 2 of the Degenerates Among Us podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jahi, or Mr. Degenerate, whatever one you want to fucking call me. I don't give a fuck at this point. Yeah. Joining me is my brothers, my good friends. I fucking hate them because they always bully me, but whatever. Especially fucking James, the biggest bully of them all. Been dealing with his shit for so long, but here you go.
Ever deserving of bullying. And hello, everybody. I'm James.
Okay.
Nice. You're doing well.
Okay. Then we have fucking Mr. Late Man, but this time he's actually early. Surprisingly, oh my god, the fucking West Indian man actually early for the first time.
Late, man. You're late.
Shut up. Suck my ass, all right?
You're not talking about me.
Fucking JT. JT.
Word? That was long. But yes, hello, I'm JT.
This
Like
nigga.
stuff. And I hope everybody's doing good. We here. Got a lot to talk about. Got a lot of deep stuff to talk about. So let's just get it on.
All right. And then we got Mr. Hacker Man, the fucking hacking sites, hacking fucking Wall Street stocks and shit. Fucking Roy.
Our own Reddit agent.
Reddit agent, Roy.
I'm there on site. I know if they know. I'm the FBI's best friend.
And last but not least, we have the fucking this fucking secret CEO of Umbrella, fucking the bully of fighting games. Fucking Andre, fucking bully us every day in fighting games. Andre.
I haven't even played with you guys in like forever.
Shut up. I still have the scars and memories.
Don't forget he's
We
also a
have
streamer.
stream footage.
Get the pen.
He has evidence. You guys evidence seals footage?
No, those are faked. Don't worry about it.
Nah.
Those
I
are
will
fake.
pull up your credentials and show all the
I'm about to
fucking
look at his
times,
Twitch channel right now.
all the times you have embarrassed all of us. But
We got the
Nah, it wasn't me.
This man got me banned.
fucking embarrassing. Anywho, we got a long ass show today, actually. So we're gonna run through as much topics as we fucking can, cause your boy got to go to sleep. And your boy's tired, so we're gonna try and get through all of this. But so first article we're gonna get to. My guys, do any of y'all even go to GameStop anymore? Does anybody even?
There's actually one near me, so I'll
I
pass
have to
one.
I have to for the new Resident Evil stuff because it's exclusive to GameStop. So
Really? What the?
yeah, you
fuck?
can't get the collector's edition anywhere else. Only GameStop.
Well then.
Yeah, Capcom on the low about
Yeah,
this.
Capcom definitely on the low with that. But you know who else is on the low? Fucking Redditors, fucking shanking it to the mans.
Oh man, bro, son, I think 2 days ago that was probably the most financially literate I've ever been in my life. Up until I almost became a day trader.
So
I was on my Robin Hood like, yo, let's get these shits. Let's get these stocks, man. Let's get it.
so can
Get
y'all?
this Dogecoin.
So for those that don't know, basically, the stocks of GameStop went up due to the Redditors. If any of y'all want to explain this better than me, because my puny brain can't copy this shit.
I could take a crack at it.
So essentially, a group of Redditors on our stock bets have essentially increased the stocks of GameStop by betting against hedge funds that the stocks would go up. Hedge funds were betting, I think about it was either 30 or like 300% that GameStop stocks would go down, hence they would make a profit. Redditors caused a shortage, making it go backwards by buying up all GameStop stocks, forcing hedge stocks to essentially shell out the money for those shorts, costing them billions among billions of dollars, and essentially driving GameStop to become close to a Fortune 500 company among Tesla and Apple.
Oh my god!
Yup.
Hey, yo,
Insane.
that's
So
insane.
in short, the small guys have found a way to manipulate the stock market the same way the big guys have been doing it for years.
Congratulations.
Also, Robinhood
The hood.
stopping people from buying stocks for GameStop and AMC, because they were getting calls from these hedge funds and the White House about people online manipulating it, even though essentially
It's illegal. They can't be doing that.
Yeah, it's been a crazy ride through that whole situation. I remember like when I first started hearing about it in the news, I'm like, what happened to GameStop? It finally closed down. Finally, that irrelevant ass company, and everyone's like, no, it's making bank. Hope you got money. Hope you got money into it, invested in it.
You know what's funny is that Reggie, former basically manager of Nintendo, is now one of the heads at the tables of GameStop. So this man must be swimming in money. Yo.
Who's laughing now?
Yeah.
I mean, did any of y'all put stock in GameStop? Or
Prior
did
to
it
this
with
week,
one
I never even looked at stocks. So no.
I've never even looked at stock. Yeah, like until now. Like I've looked at stocks before, but I've just been so lazy about like just educating myself on how to do it. But I have the app and everything's set up for me to do it. Like I'm just trying to get tips and tricks. Like come on, let's all band together. Let's all eat at this table and get this cash. Like come on, like let's look at what we missed out on. Like, come on.
That is true. I was doing stock last year. So like mid last year, my father was like, "I'm gonna teach you about stocks, big fella." And ever since that, I was like, "Ooh, okay." And then me and him both was like, "Don't put it to GameStop." And then like before the situation happened, like a week into the situation, he's like, put stocks in there right now. Put it right now. And
But
get
I had I had some investments for like a couple months. Cause like, yeah, why not? And I put like some mini like penny shares into a couple of stuff. Um, so my I've made like what $30,
yo,
like
I
with
mean, $30
some
from
stock.
a penny is better than nothing.
yeah,
Oh
bro.
no, definitely like so I when I first put the money in, like I think in September last year, I put in I think 140, and now it's like well at yesterday it was like reached a max of 200 I've made, but now it's going down to like 180. But I could also put bought some Dogecoin. Have you heard about that, Jahi? The
Yes, I
meme.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
facts.
was
So
like, what the
also, if
fuck is
people
that?
don't know, Redditors and 4chaners were also pumping the price of a cryptocurrency called Dogecoin, which they're trying to make go to $1, and that would be insane if you could go to $1. Because right now, if you bought like, let's say I bought like 10 $10 worth of Doge, that's 336. That's 336. Yeah, $10 worth
Yeah.
336. So if it reached $1, and I think I have like what, like 4,000 something Dogecoin. I could if it reached at one point $1, I could cash out, and that'd be like a pretty sweet stack profit. But
It's about 4Gs.
Yo,
that's
it's
pretty good. And I mean, right now the whole crypto, just people investing in things is pretty booming right now, which is good. You know,
Yeah.
I
It
think it's good
should,
that
and then like we could all like just fight against the system
yeah,
and like show that more people are just um like willing to interact in
yeah,
our country now and be normal and
and the
just
people, yeah,
yeah, like more
I
there's
think
wealth out
People are
there
just
for
becoming more
people.
aware.
Yeah, there's wealth out there for
at the
everyone.
very least they're saying that okay, like the wealthy, they're not playing by the same rule. Well, people knew that before, but
Of
I think it's
course.
good that people are at least exploring it, being more
Hmm.
financially literate, hopefully, instead of just, making wild bets, which a lot of people are doing, to be honest. Is a lot of this is just a big meme.
yo, it
Uh,
really is. It all
But
because
it could still turn into something true. You always know that. That's the power of it.
but hey, the
Yeah.
presidential election was
But
a big meme.
yeah,
So
that's the mass media though. Still.
I mean, I think the biggest takeaway you can take from like just I guess 2020 and this in particular is,
mhm.
or at least for me, it's showing like how useless our school system is, to be honest.
Oh,
that is
Definitely.
Because
true.
yeah.
God forbid we got taught about this stuff in fucking middle school or high school, blah 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 blah. We would be
Mhm.
a lot further along in life than we are now.
Well, that's by
Oh,
No, but
design.
it's
of
just practical
course.
skills
Yeah,
that
you
we're
No,
you
yeah, of
That's
would
course
you
it's
would have
by
by
had to
design,
done
but that's a
research for
big
this.
takeaway from it.
yeah.
But it also like kind of puts it into perspective, like, hey, we as a people can definitely come together and get shit done. So why don't we ever do it?
Mhm.
Hmm.
So I guess with 2020 and 2021 having people like either jobless or not doing much, having a lot of time in their hands, it's more time for us to realize that we can band together and change things
We also don't have, an insane person in the White House,
Yeah.
dog whistling crazy
anymore.
people
Yeah.
constantly. So the people at least calming down, you know.
Yeah, simpler
And I mean,
times.
and I think even like I've even seen people on the right can agree, like, no, fuck rich people, which is the main thing. At the end of the day, it's not about white, black, Republicans. It's about rich billionaires and millionaires who don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and the racist ones too. Of course, there's the racist people who like are in power and they're there just blocking
No, no, it's
every
beyond just race.
government
It's just
thing.
immoral, terrible
No,
people who just
yeah,
value,
no,
human life over. But I mean, yeah, I
the
mean,
Almighty
yeah,
God decides all for them.
yeah.
yeah.
Honestly, it's like the
The
only
root
color
of
that
all
matters
evil.
is green.
All that
Yeah,
matters is that there's money there. If there's money there, they don't give a fuck.
Right.
but I do wish I got some GameStop stuff. I'm kicking myself
In the
because if I at least
Too
got one
bad.
share in, it would have been. I know Mark got some.
I got
Mark,
I
I
got
think
some.
Mark got 2 shares.
I got some in.
How many? How many shares do you have?
Only two. I was
Oh,
like,
okay, put it.
damn.
That was like about 600, right?
At,
Or did you
at
buy
the
in?
at the time when it first started booming up, I had just put like 50. So
Okay, is that one share?
Yeah. At the time, when it
Oh,
first hiked up the price,
okay.
I was like,
Okay.
what the fuck? So I jumped in as soon as I can. But then, like,
Uh-huh.
the motherfuckers was like, all right, time to pull out. Because I don't know if anybody uses the app Robinhood. Robinhood was like, yeah, fuck
They
you
released the
guys.
full re-
Right.
they released the
So you
full
can't put no
release.
more money into it, which was baffling as fuck. Why would
Yeah.
Robinhood do that when other
Because
uh, when other when other apps that allow you to do stocks, they were like, "Yo, keep doing your shit, bros. Get your money."
Now,
That's
keep in
crazy,
mind that
right?
so here's the thing about specifically Robinhood. Them shutting down the listings for their stocks has resulted in a class action lawsuit that's going straight to Congress immediately.
Whoop. Well,
Um, there was a interview with Chris Cuomo and the CEO of Robinhood, and asking them basically to explain why they were doing what they were doing, because it is illegal for them to delist buying stocks on their site. The only people that can do that is the company themselves or the government, and neither one did that. And nobody gave him the authority to do that. So in short, if you guys actually go to watch this interview, it's just like Chris Cuomo laying into this guy. This guy has probably like the most dumbfounded face I've ever seen.
Hmm.
And his
yes,
excuse in
yeah, I
short
saw that
is
video.
just like, yeah, the rich people were bullying me, so I had to like, I caved. You have to
Um,
remember that Robinhood is also ran by rich people. So
Right.
that's
rich people are
crazy.
getting
little
targeted. They're
little
gonna stop
update
it.
though. I don't think that lawsuit is gonna happen because apparently by user agreement, um, it might protect Robinhood.
Might. It's
So
a
I,
definite might.
like I'm on Reuters right now, so there's like, oh, because of the user agreement and some kind of vague law that was introduced in like 1996, because their lawyers found a loophole. It seems like oh,
Yeah.
not
Yeah, of
I don't
course.
know.
It says here.
Says here
In the
in
fine print.
Nevertheless,
great big
it puts an
It says
eye on these types of things.
Nah, but
It's about time that a lot of these old laws that have loopholes kind of get rewritten.
Uh-huh. Oh, definitely. The whole,
Mhm.
like, a lot of laws just need to be like revisited, rewritten, all that stuff to be fair and like just not let people get away with
Because a
bullshit.
lot of these laws aren't fit for modern times.
Nope,
It,
not at all.
again, all this shit is meant to design people to protect people who actually make money. Like
Mm-hmm.
they knew this shit was in there. It's if unless and the poor people who went to shitty schools or can't afford to pay their rent, they can afford to invest all these millions in the stock market to even barely make a profit.
well,
So at the very least, the very least, these companies, these hedge funds, feeling a little bit of sting. That's something. That's good.
well, at the end of the day, gamers won. The gamers
Yeah,
community.
gamers truly are the most
Yo,
oppressed. Well, races.
And they say gaming don't help you through life, but
facts. Like
but
the
this
Uh
shit,
huh.
people, the
Look
like
what
people
happened. Look
nowadays,
who saved America, gamers
fucking
and
GameStop.
on
all the
artists.
nerds.
And like so, I actually listened to this podcaster by the name of Dane Ramsey who talks about like
Hmm.
finance and whatnot, and even he was like he had like a guest talking about like how like he's very fortunate for this whole situation because it was able to pay like his college tuition. He was able to
That's
get a
good.
house, and I think he made
Hell
like
yeah.
50 500
Jeez.
Ks. Yeah, like a
God.
lot. He made bank. I was like,
Good for him.
Jesus. I was like, what the fuck?
And some people made pretty good money. You know,
Shit. Well,
it's all about being at the right place at the right time.
listen,
Yeah.
you can still put money into it. My only advice would be like, like when it starts dropping hard, pull out real quick. You got to treat it. You got
I
to.
mean, it's like at like 12 right now. Like maybe I was thinking about like putting like maybe one or two shares in, and I was kind of hoping it would drop because I feel like over the next few months is gonna be weird.
Yeah, but ride it while you can because it's still rising. So hey, ride it as you can, and when that money
I
builds
was also
up,
gonna.
pull out.
hmm I was gonna put some more money into other cryptocurrencies as well, because
Yeah.
those seem to be. It's because of the stock market thing and people seeing how unstable and broken the stock market is. Cryptocurrencies are getting more popular.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
The only
Honestly,
problem with cryptocurrency is that most of it's untraceable. So if you lose it, you lose it.
hmm
oh, really? Oh, well,
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it was reported. Like I saw maybe 2 weeks ago that Bitcoin users, as a total of Bitcoin that's been lost, it's been like in the billions of people that have lost
Yeah.
Bitcoin because they forgot a password or something. Because if you do too many attempts that are failed, you actually get permanently locked out of your account. So
Jeez.
there was a guy who had like, I want to say like 2.6 million in Bitcoin in an account, but he couldn't remember his password and only had like 3 attempts left.
Jesus.
why didn't he just write the password? Write your password down, kids. Write your password down.
Probably did, and then threw it out after a coke
Yeah.
binge.
Or
I put it in my notes.
put it
In
in
my
your
phone.
phone. Put it in.
He was a boomer, so he was clearly
I
didn't know
thought they
how to
give
use
you
his
a
iPhone.
ciphertext key for cryptographic currencies.
Or do Google Play. Google allows you to save all passwords. I'm just saying.
No, this is now. Bitcoin was super popular, years ago.
Oh
It's now that it is.
yeah, because a lot of places are using
I mean,
it.
it's pretty cheap right now if y'all want to get in on it. It's been going up and
You know,
down
get in.
recently.
Nah, what everybody needs to do, who's ever listened to this podcast, everybody needs to at least get into
Dogecoin,
yeah,
Dogecoin,
Dogecoin. Get into
Dogecoin, please,
fucking stocks.
please. I
That's how
have
you go.
3 kids.
I'm telling you right now, I know the corona is still active and it's rough, but like get into stocks because
Put
stocks are
all your
like.
life savings into Dogecoin. Put all your life savings into Dogecoin.
Well,
And then
I don't know about
on
that
Reddit.
shit, but like yo, get into savings. I mean, get into stocks is like really dope. But
Yeah. Especially if
Liquidate all your assets.
you're fortunate, I guess, like me. Since I work for Starbucks, I get free stocks every year. So
Hey, nice.
I get 8 free stocks within Starbucks a year, and after
I'll
like
have
a
to
year
come
has
to you.
passed, they're given to me, and I can use them however I want.
Nice.
So if you
I'll,
have access
So,
to free stocks, always take it.
I'm about to
I
come
mean,
to your job and get some free fucking.
You got to work there for a year,
Com-
put a smile
Yeah,
on, and make
you have to be
beverages,
there
I guess.
for like a year and a half first.
fuck off. Whatever.
You
you
get
gotta
them
be there for
but you get them every year following that you start getting them. So
Ooh, big money.
so that's eight. That's 8 free stocks a year. Right now, Starbucks' stock is like 104. So if I pulled out, that's a good like 1,000 for me.
nice.
So as long
Interesting.
as I'm there,
Holler,
I'm making
holler,
money,
get
free
dollar.
money.
Holler, holler, get dollar.
Well, congratulations on GameStop. I know they're happy that they finally irrelevant, but we
And
gonna
let's just get it to Blockbuster.
give it to Blockbuster.
Son, please,
I
please.
100% would support that.
I miss my Blockbuster game rentals.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Anywho, let's just move on. Let's just move on to some fucking dumbass people.
I'm in
In-
hands.
In particular, Microsoft. Poor Microsoft. Yeah. Do y'all even use Xbox Live Gold? Does anybody even have that?
I don't have
I
an
mean,
I don't have an Xbox no more, so no.
Oh God.
my
You know-
Xbox, I put it in the corner to shame it.
But weren't you the one that was like fucking Xbox has great stuff and great user interface and whatnot, sir?
It does have great use. I would die on that hill.
Sir,
It has much better. What?
I disagree with that, but okay.
Well, you do okay. You disagreed on Wonder Woman. Look how that turned out.
We not good, sir. Please, idiot.
You did me and you disagreeing. I on some on God's scoreboard. I think I might be winning
Sir,
somewhere out the universe.
sir, please. I'm about to ban you.
But you are out. Yeah, it's better. It's faster. It's more responsive. PS4 is terrible. I don't like it.
Well,
but
if you try out,
game are great.
well,
Did you
get,
say proud?
well, get that PS5. But anywho,
Yeah,
Well,
Anywho.
if we're talking about responsiveness, James is 100% right about that.
shut up. Anywho,
I mean, I'm the guy that knows the tech guy. I would know,
Sir,
be able
sir,
to spot it.
I don't
sir.
think you need to be a tech guy to realize something's faster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
you, sir, people, kids, shut up.
yeah,
Go eat
okay,
your cereal.
I'm the
That was
child.
frozen. This was even
I
good and
can't,
gone.
I can't accept facts.
Anywho,
You
I
eat my
hope you
treats.
guys, like paying for some
Why?
Xbox Live Gold because they raised the price, the year price.
Oh, so did they raise it?
They
I thought
raised
they-
it.
No.
Well. Here's the thing. They raised it, and then they were like, "Well, we're sorry," so we put it back to the way how it did.
Oh my God.
Microsoft. So basically, for those that don't know, Microsoft came out like a couple of days ago. It was like, "Hey, we're raising the price of Xbox Live Gold to I believe 60 or a year to 120," and then
Jesus.
people was like, "Fuck you guys." You got no
That is-
games. You have no games. How are you charging us more? And so
In the middle of
Microsoft
a pandemic.
was like, you're right about that. We don't got no games, so yeah, we apologize, guys. Oh, by the way, all free games, free to play games are now. You do not need Xbox Live to do. So
Okay,
have fun.
and now we're talking.
Uh,
I mean, it should have been like
right.
that from the beginning, but whatever.
I know.
Better late than never.
Yeah, but what y'all thought on this dumb shit? Fucking Microsoft always doing some dumb shit, bro.
Game companies-
I personally didn't really think much. I thought if the 120 was gonna actually sit, I thought that they would lose pretty much like 70% of their player base. Because you can't expect to raise the price of your online service and not offer anything that's worthwhile to pay for such online service. Because
Right.
giving free games is no longer a incentive anymore. You have Game Pass. Why would I want one free game when I have hundreds?
Deadass.
That honestly, that's
Tell
what I
it.
was
Tell
thinking.
it.
That's what I was thinking they were doing, like forcing people to get on Game Pass Ultimate, because Game Pass Ultimate again is only $15, and you're getting not only free exclusive games but free third-party games. So I don't know. This was kind of
I
dumb.
didn't think it was gonna sit. I was like, I saw it and I didn't really bat an eye to it. I'm like, okay, well, if that's how it's gonna be, well, that sucks for Microsoft. But at this point, I'm not surprised with any of Microsoft's stupid ass decisions.
Hey man, they tried.
When it comes to these companies, they really try to push how far they can squeeze the customer until there's absolute massive backlash.
Mhm.
Especially in recent years with games as service, as you said, these subscriptions make more and more money, and gaming has basically become it's the most money making thing on the planet right now. Movies and music cannot compete in any type of way, so these companies really try to make as much money as possible, and really only see it until there's like they're getting canceled or something on Twitter or some shit. So it doesn't surprise me that they would try, and I'm not surprised Microsoft would be the one to do it because they're the one who started this whole paying for online bullshit.
Yeah, they really did.
Yep, first one to do it, and then PS4 did it, and then Nintendo's like, oh well, I guess we're losing money if we don't. So they're
Even
doing it
though-
now.
Their shit is only
Yeah, but at least
$20.
Nintendo is it's only $20 for a year. But then again,
But it's
Nintendo
also
doesn't have
terrible,
Nintendo doesn't have any worthwhile online games. So
and you have to download an app to do voice chat. It's not good.
I mean, I still consider Switch like a mobile kind of console. So
I mean,
I'm not really like super
I mean,
hurt that I have to download an app to talk to somebody.
On your phone, yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
It's
I'm
on
not.
I
I'm
don't-
not. It doesn't really bother me too much because like if I'm gonna be on the go with it, then that's fine.
I'm not. I don't know. I'm not playing.
But then again, it's like,
online
why would I
outside
use
that
an
all.
app when I can just kind of like call the person?
Yeah, exactly.
Or they just have it a built-in. You fucking idiots.
Yeah, built-in mic.
Yeah,
Fucking-
but this is a predominantly like kid targeted console / company, so you don't want your children to be targeted by a bunch of slurs.
Sir, do you understand that my audience is also Nintendo fans? Are you trying to come at the Nintendo fans and tell them that they're just fucking kids, sir?
Yes. Fuck.
Oh my-
If you own a Switch and you listen to this podcast, fuck you.
I said
Basically-
specifically the console is made with children in mind.
Sir, I think
Name
the
me one
fans-
console that competes with anything Sony and Microsoft did back in the day from Nintendo.
Sir,
In terms of a fan base, because I'm pretty sure I didn't see no Resident Evil on a fucking any of old games. I'm pretty sure I didn't see any super like adult games on a Nintendo system
sir,
because they were targeted towards kids. Let's keep in mind their mascot is Mario. Like, come on.
sir, it feels like you're insulting them. I mean, I don't personally care because
Well, yeah, Nintendo is
And if somebody feels insulted, then that sounds like a them problem.
Animal
Yeah,
Crossing,
problem.
like their moneymaker, is Pokemon, Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
Think
like their
it's
moneymakers are kid-friendly games, not adult stuff.
idiots buying. fucking plush toys.
Nintendo's a family-friendly console and company.
Right.
It's always been like that.
They convince grown men to buy toys and put it on their console.
oh my god,
Basically, yeah.
that is true. But yeah, this was just like a total misfire for them. Like, I don't know. Like, I could see if they was like, oh, we're gonna raise the ultimate Game Pass service. I could kind of understand because that literally gives you the PC version of Game Pass, the console version of Game Pass, plus
Yeah. Wait, hold
Xbox
on.
Live,
That
plus
would make more sense.
plus EA games, Games Play, which is basically all the EA games for free. Then they're giving us soon, I think, if I'm not mistaken, fucking Ubisoft little thing. Uplay.
You notice how they're becoming like streaming services now? Like every company has their own like plus or play now.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that's- this is only gonna like, oh, I should just pirate this shit.
Well, this is just kind of like integrating with the more modern way of doing things.
Which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that in particular.
I don't.
It's,
I mean,
it's better than fucking
no,
PlayStation.
I mean, I like it because it opens up competition within companies. So you always have an option to go to something cheaper or more, desirable. But it's also like it just drives the prices for things that should not be expensive.
Yeah, that.
I mean, if it leads to better games, maybe. But then it's just gonna
What's
say
the
there's gonna
problem?
have
It's
streaming
not.
services. Yeah, like streaming service, they just hoard like.
They're like,
instead of
hey,
just
remember all
making
that
good
old
content-
stuff you love? Here is it again. And please forgive us
Yeah.
for not putting in any work these past 2-3 years. Which is essentially what Microsoft did. It's like, oh, let's buy Bethesda because we don't have literally any fucking games for our next
Yeah,
gen.
they'll buy a company
Please forgive
that
us.
has better talent instead of
I
just
mean,
making
again, I think that going off a little topic, like I think that was a really smart idea to buy Bethesda because they just IPs are just like whoa. There's a lot of great
was.
IP, but
It was smart, but it's not a band-aid solution to
Yeah.
you not having any next gen console and any next gen games. Granted, PlayStation doesn't have a crap ton that's coming out that's out right now, but their lineup
They have
for starting was
solidified-
more than
yeah.
enough to please a lot.
I mean,
of
they had
people.
Spider-Man, Miles Morales. So I think if you're even a casual, like you can't deny, like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Next
like a
gen?
next gen
Whoa.
console release with at least 5-6 games that are new to said console series. That is completely fine. Microsoft did not have not a single one.
I mean, they have.
and the one they did have, everybody's like, yo, why does it look like it came out 10 years ago?
Yeah,
I mean, recently, like Media, this game called The Media came out and
Medium.
the
Medium, yeah, Medium. Oh, my bad, Medium. I played it like 2 hours of it before the stream, and it's all right, but it's not a game to start off. It's not a game to start off the next gen. Like it's
Well, it's
all
not
right.
a start. It came out Thursday, two days
Yeah,
ago.
but what I mean is like if it's like the
not a
exclusive
good launch title.
Yeah, it's not a good launch
Yeah.
title. Like it's cool.
I
like
agree.
like
Well, I have yet to play it myself. I'm going to be streaming it after this podcast. It looked interesting for me and enough for me to buy it,
yeah.
which I don't really do for horror games unless I know what I'm getting into.
I honestly don't.
I would agree that it's just like
can't
even though it
really-
looks dope,
It's a
What were you
double A
gonna say?
game. It's not a triple A game. Let's just put it like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it. Like, it's
Because
a
even going
budget
on
game.
Twitter, like, because normally when a game's coming out and it's big, you'll see a
Mhm.
lot of stuff on Twitter when you kind of look up that game. With the medium, it's kind of like, it kind of feels like a company just looking for attention, which
Yeah.
is weird.
Hey, Microsoft had to pay the bills, so they was like, hey,
I mean, Microsoft will promote good indie stuff like when they can. Like look at Cuphead, you know.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they hit big, but when it comes to first party, like just making their own stuff, they're not really good. They're not good at being creative, and that's why they
I,
buy these little companies.
I'm pretty sure down the line, like when we get further down the console generations,
Mhm.
I feel like Microsoft eventually is going to phase out and just kind of become a streaming company. Like, hey,
yeah.
play a Microsoft Xbox Game Pass on your Nintendo Switch, like
I could
that type of
definitely
thing.
see
Oh,
that.
I can
Instead of
after
Play
streaming
Game Pass
hits.
on your brand new Stadia 2. Like,
Stadia.
yeah, like
Stadia 2.
play the brand new such and such game on the fucking KFC console, like, you know, like that type of shit.
But let's be honest, GameStop is about to release their own console.
Hey man, we still have the KFC console, guys. Come on.
Yo, facts. Now you're gonna be playing fuck every other console.
We also
KFC
have the
console.
Soldier Boy console still too.
Oh, man.
Oh shit, son. Microsoft been quiet since Soldier Boy came out. With Soldier Boy console.
They scared. They scared.
They scared. Google who?
Well, well, almost to wrap this up, but like I actually do have a question. So since like I gotta give the PlayStation community some props because they did fight hard to get this shit changed. So kudos to them. So I guess my question would be, so why doesn't fucking PlayStation fans fight to not have $70 games?
Well,
Because
because
the games that are coming out are actually worth the $70.
I don't know.
That's my firm
You wanna argue fucking Miles being $40 when that game just feels like a big DLC. It just feels like DLC.
Well, that's
I
one
think it should be.
game in
I think it should
particular.
depend on the budget of the game. If the
Yeah,
game
like
is
Demon's Souls
expensive,
100% looks like a $70 game.
yeah, but I'm not pay. I shouldn't have to pay $70 for fucking Just Dance 18.
That type of stuff, no. But when it comes to like either a new IP or an old IP that's been upgraded to the point where it looks like Demon's Souls has compared to its original predecessor, yes, I believe $70 is fine.
Also, if it's a games as service, then also no. Like if you're like if I have to buy this game and then also have to buy for $70 content going forward, because it's not like the economy is good. It's not like $70. People can be like, oh, $70 is not gonna hurt. People are hurting, So I think the $70 thing is kind of like, whoa.
And that's just $70.
But
That's not even adding up the taxes yet.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's a hard pill to
people-
swallow because it's just a game.
Yeah. But hopefully, also these companies start doing like Steam or just having a lot of sales because I feel like there's so much games now, and I feel like this console generation people are more lukewarm on than other previous ones because you can't even get them. But yeah, I feel like they should start if they start doing more sales. I feel like that the $70 pill might go down easier, but yeah, like I said, these companies are it's all about just how much people can.
That's gonna happen.
It's all about how much people are willing to stomach, and these companies are only out to make money, so they're always gonna push it how far they can take.
Typically, the only people that are gonna really buy things when they first immediately come out is either gonna be diehard fans of an existing IP, or people who are really, really interested in something new.
Yeah.
Typically,
like
other
streamers and all
people
that,
will
people
just
who
like
think are already-
streamers, content creators, stuff like that will immediately buy stuff because it's instant
yeah.
content. You want to get stuff out as
Yeah.
quick as possible. But for the most part, the majority of people are fine with waiting, and things go on sale pretty frequently nowadays.
Yeah,
like even on
I
Steam, like the medium was $45. It was on sale 2 weeks before it was even out.
Yeah, but you can get it for free on Game Pass. So
Really?
Yes, it's free on Game Pass. I'm telling y'all, get that Game Pass. It is. And when you first start off, when you first start
too many
off,
games.
nah, you fine, you'll be good. Nah, and when you first start off, when you first start off
I
game.
can't stomach Game Pass simply because I don't really have people to play with those old games.
Hey, it's okay, man. Get it on the PC. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I have like my Xbox stuff on PC, but again, I don't really have any old school games that I know people would want to play a lot. You know?
I mean, weren't you playing KI with fucking Roy? So I don't want to hear that
No,
excuse.
Roy has yet to play me in KI.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, all right.
Like I said, I haven't played a single game with any one of you. I played Guilty Gear with Roy. That was about it.
Oh well, we gotta get on. We gotta get on. Fucking.
I'm down to play Marvel. I'm down to play Marvel, or just try out Fightcade in general. I'm curious to see how that works.
Yeah, so I mean, Fightcade has been a good buffer because they have Marvel superheroes, which is like one of my favorite old Marvel games.
Oh yeah.
Fightcade, and they also have Marvel One. So I'm more down for playing like the super 90s fighting games.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
And before we veer off topic, what's the next topic, Jahi?
yes, I was just about to say that. You're in luck. You're in luck, Andre. It's your time to shine. Your moment. The fucking true final boss of all Resident Evil games, bro. And we're just gonna recap the fucking Resident Evil showcase because it came out like a couple of weeks ago, and it was dope. As a Devil May Cry fan, it's so great to see Capcom support you guys and give y'all everything y'all want. But
I mean, we make Capcom all the
shut
money they
the
want.
fuck up.
So
Nobody cares, man. It's like I just want my fucking Dante costume.
Son, I don't know. You're not getting that shit, son.
Whatever. So, anywho, fucking the Resident Evil showcase happened, and a lot of things happened. They showed off more gameplay. Finally, actually showed off a lot of gameplay. Actually, I was actually surprised how much they showed off. Well, Andre, since you're the chief Resident Evil man, like, go hit us through what exactly happened, bro.
what other stuff they showed off?
All the stuff, all the juicy stuff.
Well, to start, they showed off more RE Village in-game gameplay, some more story mode stuff as well, in a cinematic way. Following that, they went through some key points in the game that they wanted to show off. I think the first being the merchant that's going to be in the game.
Yes.
What else? They showed off the inventory system. They showed off some of the characters that we're going to be going to be facing. Like Lady Demetrius and her, I think, daughters, from what they were saying. I'm not sure if they're actually her daughters.
Which are daughters, whatever.
Yeah, the other three girls. Other than that, they didn't really give away too much specific information. It was just more like what you can expect in terms of the world, the inventory system, and the merchant specifically. Followed by that, they showed off the 25th anniversary game that will be coming out with the RE8 Village pre-order, which will be RE-verse.
We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But for those that want to know the release date is I believe May 27th, 2021.
May 7th.
Yes, May 7th, 2021. And I know we have different editions. What are those different editions? I totally forgot. We have the standard edition. Wait, I think I have it on the fucking website, actually. Hey, yes I do. Yeah. Go follow my blog, my blogging channel. Gamers May Care. Anywho, so there is like 3 different editions to this game. There's the standard edition, then there's the deluxe edition. It comes with a bunch of shit. Comes with a filter, Resident Evil 7 filter. I don't know what that means. Oh, the found footage. Really? Found footage filter. Anywho.
Do you want me to go through it?
Yes, I'm actually no. I'm actually now reading some of these because I didn't read
Okay,
them.
so
Yeah, so you're gonna go
the
through.
the RE Village has coming in I believe three collections, 3 or 4 collections. One of them is very specific for digital. So the first most expensive one is going for about 200 and something dollars, and for funny enough, it's also available at EB Games, which they still exist.
Wait, it
So
does.
Jesus.
It
Ow.
does.
yeah, let's see if redditors get their hands on that.
Oh yeah, hell
That
yeah.
would be
What's EV
hilarious.
GameStop?
But yeah, the collector's edition is including the game, the Trauma DLC pack, Chris Redfield figurine, 64-page hardbook art cover, reversible microfiber cloth map, which is a live map of the game, and then a steelbook for RE Village. There's going to be a digital deluxe edition as well, which is going to be also available physically, which is a little weird for to call it digital, but it's also physical. It's gonna have the Trauma DLC pack as well. It's gonna have the game. It's gonna have the Tragedy of Ethan Winters, which I believe is like a short, like director's cut of the game. And then it's gonna have like the. It's gonna also have like the some collectibles in game as well. Then there's also gonna be a complete bundle, which is essentially just RE8 with RE7 gold, and that is about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for what they showed off of Resident Evil 8. And then they announced the maiden demo, which was very interesting. Very interesting to play. Did you get to play it, Andre? Cause I know.
No, I don't own a PS5.
Wah, wah, wah. Yes.
I watched it, but I did not get to play it.
Trust me, you're not missing much. But yeah. Other than that, what else did they talk about in this presentation?
RE-verse.
RE-verse. Y'all can talk about that. Y'all can talk about that.
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who's looked into RE-verse, and so RE-verse right now actually is in beta. It has a closed beta going on, so there
That's
are
the
a
one
ton
where
of
all
people.
the Resident Evil characters fighting each other?
Yes.
Oh,
So RE-verse essentially is kind of like I don't want to say a battle royale, but it is more than it's kind of like a battle royale, an enclosed battle royale with I think about I want to say 6 to 8 players. Essentially, the game is you get to pick between I think it's 6 or 7 survivors. You get to pick between Chris, Resident Evil 7 Chris, Resident Evil 2 Claire, Resident Evil 2 Leon, Punk Ada, and Jill Valentine. So essentially, what the game is going to be about is you're in these enclosed maps that are like going to be landmarks from like every Resident Evil game that we've ever played. The first one being the RPD from Resident Evil 2. So essentially, the game for what it is right now from the closed beta is a deathmatch, a free for all deathmatch style of game where you pick a character. The end goal is to get the most points for kills. They also showed BOWs in the game. So how that works is when you pick a survivor in the beginning, you keep playing, you get your kills or whatever. Everybody has their own unique guns. They have their own unique skills, etc., etc. When you die as one of the survivors, you actually turn into a BOW. The BOW you turn into is based off these vials that you find in game. So while you're playing around the map, there's going to spawn these BOW vials. Depending on the amount that you have picked up, will depend on what you change into. So if you die and you have no vials, you actually turn into a fat molded from Resident Evil 7. If you have one vial, you turn into either the Gamma Y, so the Gamma Y from Resident Evil 3, or you turn into Jack Baker from Resident Evil 7. If you have 2 vials, which is the maximum amount of vials you can carry, you either turn into Super Tyrant or you turn into Nemesis. And it's basically it's a death loop. So you play as a survivor, you die, turn into a BOW. You die as a BOW, you go back into you turn into a survivor, and the end goal is just to get the most points. It's free for all, essentially, just in a Resident Evil style.
It's basically like the Resident Evil 5 versus mode for those that don't know.
Yeah, in a nutshell. I mean, it's interesting. Based off like the gameplay, it looks pretty interesting. It doesn't look as bad as I thought. The comic filter is actually a default in the game, but you have the option to turn it off. What else? Some of the animations look a little janky, but again, it's still in beta, so I'm not gonna like harp on it too much. It's also still a free game coming with Village, so again, I'm not gonna complain. I like RE multiplayer games. I wish that they were good. The only one I actually thoroughly enjoyed was Operation Raccoon City. So I'm hoping that RE-verse is going to be something like that. Because this is the RE-verse is kind of taking, I want to say, hints from Operation Raccoon City, just not in the same way. It's taking it and like twisting it into its own thing, which is cool. There's a couple of like little intricacies in the game that are like really interesting. Like so, you get so with RE-verse, the more you kill, you get kill streaks, just like any other shooter game. With RE-verse, your kill streaks kind of like mean everything because that nets you the most points. With this game, they added like a little interesting little quirk to the game. So when you die as a survivor and you have a kill streak, you actually can redeem your kill streak by killing the person that killed you.
Oh, so it's like a
So
revenge. Yeah.
yes, there's a revenge mechanic in the gameplay. So let's just say, for example, I'm playing as Claire, and I get offed by an Ada at a kill streak of 6. When I turn into that BOW that I'm going to be turning into, if I go and chase down Ada and kill her, my kill streak continues. I get extra points for the revenge kill, and I just keep on going for the most part.
Okay.
But if I die, I lose all that stuff. I lose all the bonuses, blah blah blah. And I only get like a base amount of points. And even with that, it becomes like this little like meta mind game where it's like you kind of want to, if you kill somebody that you know is on like a really big kill streak, and now they're chasing you down as fucking super tyrant, you can kind of like lead them into like another group of people that are also just wailing on each other. So that they kind of avoid you. There's like a little cute little meta mind game around it. There's gonna be more more modes, but for now there's only the deathmatch mode as far as what I'm specifically talking about.
Okay.
I'm interested to see what else they're gonna add to the game. I don't feel like this game's gonna be like largely supported past like a couple months, but I'm hopeful. It looks okay.
So
I do hope they add like some better maps though. Because the RPD is dope, but I want to see like other specific landmarks that are known. Like I want to see some RE4 landmarks. Like it'd be cool to fight in the RE4 village.
of course.
I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to fight in a part of RE8 stuff. Or if they somehow make like the Baker Mansion, the Baker House, like a playable fight area. I don't know if it'll work like that, but there's a lot of room for potential.
Or at least the house, the beginning part of the house.
Yeah, or like imagine fighting in like the Spencer Mansion. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be dope. But all right, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit since you described that whole thing, which was very interesting because I didn't even know much about versus, except I predicted it. The one that called that they were gonna make mercenaries type versus mode in the game. I called it. Bing called it. But to backtrack for a little bit, let me talk about the maiden demo since I was the only one that was able to play the maiden demo. So the maiden demo is exclusively for the PS5. There is another demo coming soon.
Spring.
Okay, spring. And I think that's
March or April.
Yeah, so I think that's gonna be more action focused or like more stuff.
That will be the action demo.
Okay.
This one is only for Maiden was only for a visual.
Yeah.
To kind of get your feet wet with how you should be experiencing the game. The one that's coming this spring should be more than likely the demo that I played.
Yeah. So with that with the maiden demo, the maiden demo is pretty much like a visual showcase of how the game runs, look, and pretty much it gives you a little bit of an idea of the setting, enemies, and also like basically the lore of that mansion place, because there's a lot of interesting things that happens in that demo. There's no fighting, there's no nothing, but it does give you a little bit of information, such as where the hell you're at, and with the vampire fucking ladies. Andre, what are the names of the vampires? ladies.
The daughters, I
I'll
don't think have names yet,
go.
but the big tall one is Lady Dimitrescu.
Yes, Lady Demetrius. That
It's a
arrow.
hard name because it's taking place in like Romania. It's
Yes,
all
it's
Roman.
yeah, and they're basically, from what I've gathered, that they're basically like winemakers, but they're using their maids as blood to drink and sell.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very interesting. And they've been around since 1958, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. Am I wrong on that, Andre, or am I right? Whatever.
I'm not sure. I would have to look into it.
Yeah, but yeah, they've been around for a long time. Basically, they
Old Victorian time vampires.
yeah, they're basically Victorian vampires. But of course, there's gonna be a twist, of course, because
Gothic vampire.
I mean, it makes sense because of the general like fodder enemies are werewolves. So werewolves,
Yeah.
vampires, Romania kind of makes sense.
yeah. So
All
pretty
that.
much, pretty much.
Speaking of which, the maiden demo we do not play as Ethan. That's actually a separate character.
Yeah.
That we're, playing as.
You're actually playing as the maid. So basically, in one of the documents, basically one of the maids accidentally pushed over the window and had like the sun almost come out, and one of them almost got burnt. So they were like, "Oh my fucking god, this bitch needs to go. This bitch got to go." So that's pretty much what you're doing. You're trying to make your way out of the house with no weapons, no nothing. And then you run into Big Mama.
Which is funny because apparently she's never even seen this maiden.
Yeah. Which
The
is,
last, literally, the only line that you get from her is, "Oh, so we finally meet."
yeah. Which is interesting. So that means, like, she just been like,
I mean, that means the daughters have been putting in a lot of the work, and she's
Yeah.
kind of there.
yeah, she's just like, hey, I'm Big Mama. I'm Big Mama.
I'm
which
big mama out here.
which all you guys have been fucking horny over, and I can kind of see why after playing the demo. But
Also, rest in peace to the voice actor of the one
Oh
of the,
yeah,
the
that was
daughters.
bad. That's crazy
Yeah,
timing.
that was just nuts. She was, but it's all cancer. Like it's crazy. Like it's always cancer. But long battle with cancer. R.I.P. It's just crazy. She didn't see the numbers go up. She didn't get to see the numbers. Hopefully she saw some of
She
the
died
memes
from
though.
colon cancer.
yeah.
Probably
So
put a tribute to her
She's
in the
had
game or
a
something.
long career, but at least one of her last characters will be remembered.
yeah, because I will say, if you actually do play the demo, like hearing her talk is kind of creepy, but also kind of sexy. Only because I'm into vampire
Hey,
stuff.
whoa,
so,
buddy.
so it's kind of weird, but
All right,
it's,
who's horny now? All right.
shut up, y'all took it to the next level.
Podcast is for kids.
Yeah, listen. They'll learn one day. They'll learn one day. But yeah, pretty much, it's a good demo. But again, it almost reminds me of, I don't. Andre would probably back me up on this again. The Resident Evil 7 demo, that originally came out for Resident Evil 7. It's kind of reminiscing of that. Hopefully, honestly, I hope they keep updating it like Resident Evil 7 demo, because that one was dope the way how they did it. But
I don't think that's what's gonna happen. Simply due to the fact that they have another demo planned,
yeah,
and the RE7 demo is kind of coming hot off the heels of PT, and PT had a lot to discover. So people really wanted RE7's demo to have a lot to discover,
Oh,
which it
yo,
did.
that's
Funny enough.
crazy.
But it's actually not in the public eye. So if you follow, Maximilian, he clearly knows a lot of the Capcom devs, and he actually specifically asked if there was any more stuff in that RE7 demo that nobody discovered, and they were like, yeah, there was some stuff that people did not interact with that to this day still nobody knows about.
really
Mm-hmm.
interesting. That's fucking interesting. All right, but yeah, like moving forward, what else happened in the showcase? Basically, the Resident Evil, what you call it, fucking Netflix anime.
Infinite Darkness.
Yes, Infinite Darkness. We got a little bit more information on that. So
Just a
basically,
bit.
yeah, just a bit. Nothing really We still don't have no release date for that, which I'm disappointed because it has two of my favorite Resident Evil characters.
Which
So
I think they need to stop personally putting Claire and Leon together. I would like to see I would like to see Leon and Jill together for once. To be honest,
no.
because if you think about it, throughout the entire history of Resident Evil as a franchise, Leon and Jill have never interacted, not once.
But sir.
Whether it be in storybook, whether it be in a manga, whether it be in a comic, a video game, or a movie, Leon and Jill have never once interacted. Remember how hype it was when people finally saw Leon and Chris interacting in RE6?
Oh yeah,
that was exciting.
Yeah,
that was the hypest moment for me.
Like we've never seen Leon and Jill interact. We've never seen Jill and Claire interact. Like these are characters that are so predominant in the series lore that have never interacted. Like it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, but boy, like
imagine getting a brand new RE game, right? Like imagine RE9 just kind of goes off the rails and it's something different, and imagine it's a co-op RE game, right? And the two protagonists are Jill and Claire. Like how sick would that be? Like the last time we had a predominantly led RE game with a female protagonist was Revelations 2, and prior to that, RE1. Every other game has been led by and RE3. Every other game has been led by a male, which I'm not complaining, but I would like to see characters that have not, interacted with each other finally interact.
Yeah, that's why I was talking about RE6. Okay, cool copy.
Yeah, but Ada you play alone.
But hey,
until they updated it and they let you play with an unknown NPC name, but it's not the same. Like RE6 personally gets a lot of shit for the way the game is and how over the top it is. But
it's so...
personally, I liked it because of all the story elements that it incorporated and let all these characters finally interact with each other, which was for me the most exciting.
I would agree and disagree with that. Like I agree with the whole characters finally interacting with each other. Sure, I really love that personally. But then it's just the rest of the story is kind of trash. So it's Simmons and his whole plan kind of is trash.
Well, yeah, I'm not speaking specifically about the story, but I'm speaking about what drove me into the game specifically, and was like, whoa, coming from RE4, it was like, okay, I love Leon, and then you play RE5, and it's like, okay, Chris is pretty cool too, and I was like, wait, now these characters they're the very first trailer. Well, I don't know if it's the very first trailer, but one of the first couple of trailers that RE6 came out with, one of them shows Chris and Leon pointing a gun at each other, and it's like, for a fan that's never seen that shit before, it's an immediate grab.
Yeah, and then Chris is like, yo, this is the woman that did all of this, and
yeah, and Leon's then you see Ada in the game, and it's it just adds more layers of questions upon questions of questions.
And then they kind of
that's an easy hash grab for Resident Evil for Capcom to target Resident Evil fans with characters. It would be badass to see Jill and Claire together. It would be badass to see Leon and Chris together. It would be badass to see Jill and Leon together. I think the only pairing that we have gotten from these specific main story characters has been Claire and Chris, and that was in Code Veronica, and that game is fucking hella old.
Hell, but hey.
And you never see them together. You just play with them separate.
Leon has to impregnate Claire, so the fucking Redfield line.
We're not doing the bloodline meme.
The bloodline must continue with them. I'm sorry, bro. That's why they have another fucking show together. All right, come on, bro.
The only reason that meme even exists is because the gay community wants Chris to be gay for some reason.
Hey.
I mean, for some reason, let's not act like.
But Chris, I don't ever see or hear Chris smashing no woman. I mean, Claire, she's trying to get love, but stuff keep happening. Leon is constantly chasing after Ada, and we all know how that's going.
Leon likes sundays, okay? Let's just put it like that.
He likes toxic women. It's okay. In life,
we all like toxic women.
Yeah. In life, sometimes you need toxic women.
Nope. Yeah.
Infinite Darkness, we didn't get too much info. Just a little snippet of what's to come.
Yeah, it takes place for I think a couple of years after Resident Evil 4. So I'm assuming it's taking place
a little before 6, I would assume.
Yeah, before 6.
He still has that rugged look, adult look to him.
Leon's
This is
like,
before 6.
This is well, it doesn't specifically say before 6, but he says definitely after 4.
and
So the
Claire
whole Las Plagas stuff has already happened. Ashley has already happened. Blah blah blah.
and Claire looks like Resident Evil Revelation 2 Claire. So
I feel like it might be right before, to be honest.
yeah, it probably is before because in between Revelation 2, she gets fucked up. So and gets the
Yeah,
haircut.
'cause she's still with. I think around that time before or the Rev 2 stuff, she's with Terra Save.
Yeah. Pretty much. I think that's pretty. Oh, and then the Division has free DLC. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Division
I
has
haven't-
costumes for Resident Evil. I don't think anybody really gave two shits about that.
Nobody asked for that.
Nobody asked for that.
And
The Division is a dead game. I don't know
Yo,
why Capcom
I
is
bought-
wasting their time
I bought the
teaming
Division
with
when
them.
it came out. I bought the Division when it came out, and I stopped playing that game when the first 1 or 2 DLCs came out, and I was like, nah, I'm done with this. Like, nah, it's not it. It's not it.
That game
I got
is
bored.
not good.
I got bored of it real quick.
I heard Division
But
2 was
it's-
alright.
It was
but-
good. It was interesting. I saw where it was going, but I was like, nah.
I
need
mean,
a-
when
you need
it comes
to
in,
do
it's free
that.
money, so it's whatever. But it just doesn't make sense at all. The Division and Resident Evil are two completely different franchises.
And they just paid 2 interns to just make some 3D models for some costumes.
Yeah.
Just,
Like that took like a week at most.
yeah, it was like, yeah, they probably put it out to some people on Twitter, like, hey, who wants to make some quick cash?
Yeah, Capcom probably didn't even make that like in house.
100%.
Send it out.
It was made in Korea.
When it comes on to Capcom making stuff in house, they're just kind of like not cheap.
Why?
Yeah, so like they're like, yo,
Who
son,
is he counting that Street Fighter money?
hey, it is what it
They don't
is.
make that much money.
Devil May Cry then, whatever.
Shut up.
No, Street Fighter makes more than Devil May Cry, but Street Fighter isn't like in the top bracket of what they make.
So what's their top bracket?
Resident Evil,
Resident Evil's number 1, second Monster
Really?
Hunter.
Monster Hunter, yeah,
Really?
Oh, Monster Hunter's the most money, man.
yeah.
Monster Hunter
crazy.
makes the most money in Japan.
I would have said Street Fighter, Monster Hunter, then Ari.
No,
Nah.
Monster Hunter, Street Fighter, Devil May Cry.
I thought Street Fighter was
Yeah.
making more money than it actually was.
Not really.
Not really. Wah, wah, wah. It's a fighting game.
Well,
so-
Monster Hunter's definitely making bank hand over fist.
Well, they've made money time and time again for like the last decade in Japan.
Yeah.
They like Monster Hunter is a cultural phenomenon in Japan.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it at all. I've seen it. I mean, I've been hearing about the game 4 years before I even played it.
I mean, we
Just in-
play this game and we go online, and who do we care to boost us? The Japanese people. Like,
It really be the Japanese.
yeah,
it really be
son.
them, bro.
Oh, they are like superheroes in that game, bro. You just call them out like, "Somebody save me!" and then some 2 dudes with some characters I don't understand will just beat the monster for me. I just did it. I was playing the fighting the Glavinus. I did nothing. It was amazing.
Yeah, and then you have Monster Hunter Rise coming out in I think a month or 2. So even more money for Capcom.
And then they always do like a pretty good job with these games. They don't phone them in.
As long as it's
That's all
in house, Capcom is like on the roll.
I think that would be like a good segue into like the next topic.
Yeah. So, yeah. Let me ask y'all this: did anybody play Resident Evil 3? How did y'all feel about that? Resident Evil 3 remake.
I wanted to play it.
Remake or
remake.
Of course, yeah.
I never played it.
Well,
I think I'm the only one. Though.
I think me and Andre is the only one that played remake, and I would say it was kind of a letdown.
I 100% did it, so I already have more than enough knowledge of the game.
Yeah, like I would say it was kind of a letdown, but to hear that Resident Evil 4 remake is coming and it's gonna be done by the same Resident Evil 3 team, I was like, that's not a good sign. But now it seems like Capcom's like, fuck that. We're gonna make
They may
Resident Evil
change it,
4.
right?
Yeah. So recently,
So, explain in short.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, when RE8 was not even announced, just rumored. RE4. Well, everybody assumed with all the remakes of Resident Evil 2 being a smash hit, Resident Evil 3 coming out. Obviously, the next, one down the line is going to be RE4, which is
Yeah.
their most beloved game.
Yes.
Um,
My first Resident
when
Evil.
RE3R came out, it was not. It was shown that it was not made in house. It was outsourced to a developer known by M2.
Mhm.
Um, M2 made pretty much everything for RE3R. Capcom just kind of produced it. And the game came out. It wasn't like a smash hit as RE2 was, simply because RE2 was made in house. It was made internally by Capcom devs. It was made specifically with the Capcom
Love and softs.
love that we come to expect when it comes to those games.
Yeah, I heard
RE3R was not.
RE3 was pretty good though. I thought it was pretty
No,
solid.
yeah.
Me.
So this is where we're getting at. Is that RE3R was good. The
Mhm.
problem, the main problems that people had with RE3R was that number one, it felt rushed in terms of content because parts of the original
did.
Resident Evil 3 formula were cut out of the game, and it was in large portions. The main predominant parts of the original Resident Evil 3 that were cut out was the Raccoon City Park, the Clock Tower, which is a very big part of Resident Evil 3,
Mhm.
and the graveyard, the Raccoon City Cemetery.
Mhm.
On top of, I think, the sewers. I'm not sure. Well, no, we got
the sewers. We got the sewers, but it's
We got
shortened.
the sewers. Yeah, it was extremely shortened. So that was the biggest problem because most of the good content of the original Resident Evil 3 are those parts. So a lot of classic enemies from those parts, like the Gravedigger, running into a lot more dogs, the clock tower with Nikolai turning his back on you there, the Nemesis fight with Nikolai, this first meeting Carlos in the clock tower. There was a lot of stuff that was taken out and kind of condensed into just cutscenes or background images. So specifically, the second Nemesis boss fight takes place literally right next to
Right
the
next to the
Raccoon City
clocks.
Park, and the clock tower is the backdrop for the fight. On top of that, the original RE3 has the stalker type of feel with Nemesis, where you actually get to choose your options whether you want to fight or run away. We don't have active choices anymore in Remake. Nemesis is sort of relegated to specific timed attacks. He only
It's like
comes at
linear.
Yeah, it's
Yes, it's extremely
very
linear.
linear.
He doesn't pop out when he wants to. He pops out when he's scripted to. So
Okay.
that, for the most part, that was the biggest problems. RE3R was really good, but it wasn't fantastic like RE2 was. RE2 remake is like a 10 out of 10, and RE3 remake is like a 7 to 8 out of 10. I would say 7.5
I would
for the
say.
most part.
I would say for me is
Good, but not great.
for me. I would say it's more of a 6.5, only because as someone who's never played Resident Evil 3, the original Resident Evil 3, you could just feel like stuff was cut, or like things that was originally intended to be there wasn't there, and the game just feels so linear. And I think as someone who's never played 3 but knows how significant and important Nemesis is a fucking pushover. He's such a pushover.
Yeah. Compared to Mr. X, Nemesis is supposed to be an upgraded tyrant from Mr. X. He's able to use weapons. He's smart. He can talk. Blah blah blah. With the original RE games, RE2, Mr. X was not a pushover, but he was not easy as well. But he was just a slow walking tyrant. And Nemesis was a significant upgrade because he could talk. He had his tentacles. He had weapons.
He runs
could
at
run
you.
at you. He was a lot more scarier. Stalker type of enemy. In this game, he's a scripted stalker, so it's not like RE2 where you're just kind of doing your thing, playing through the game, and you can hear him literally stomping around, which was the number one main best point of RE2 is that Mr. X just walks around. Like, it's scary 24/7 because
Yeah, and
you don't know where he is. You can hear him opening doors. You don't know whether you should run or walk.
You open a door and he's
Yeah,
just right
and
there.
sometimes like you'll get yourself trapped between like a clicker
licker
or
and
your
him.
liquor or whatever, and it would make the scenario creepy as
Insanely
hell.
hard.
Yeah, it's insanely hard because
But
now
with
you have to you got to backtrack, and probably the way how you probably was trying to avoid, you have to now go in that area.
Yeah, so with RE3, it should have been exactly like that. Nemesis should have been scripted just like Mr. X was. in the sense that he's an AI that walks around Raccoon City that you encounter at certain parts. But instead, Raccoon City was relegated to you can't really explore it the way you could in the original RE3. Like the best parts of Resident Evil 3 was being able to explore the city in the original one because the city is so vast.
Mm-hmm.
And in RE3 remake, it's only a very small section of the city, which sucks because it looks so great. It looks
Yeah,
fantastic.
it really
the area
does.
looks really good, and it looks like it has
There's
nothing
also
but
a
potential.
Darkstalkers reference.
It's just a lot of basically like to summarize it. RE3R just didn't tick a lot of the boxes that should have been ticked.
Yeah.
So with RE4 being on like the back end of people's minds, it was rumored that M2 was going to be the company that was going to be doing RE3R, which of course for a lot of Capcom fans and Resident Evil fans, it was scary because it was like RE3 was good but not great, and to take a cult classic like RE4, that's one of the most beloved games of all time,
My first
Let
Resident
the
Evil.
D team handle it.
and potentially do what they did with RE3 to RE4, it's going to be a lot more backlash than it was with RE3R. So, the Resident Evil 4 officially was confirmed when there was a data breach at Capcom HQ a couple months ago, confirming a list of games that was going to be coming out within the next 3 to 4 years leading up to 2024. RE4 being one of those games. Originally, it was set it to be in VR, so we don't know if that's still going to be a thing. But quote unquote, the game was essentially officially announced that it's being worked on a couple weeks ago, with Capcom releasing a statement saying that M2's M2 originally was 100% going to be the ones working on the game. They are the ones working on the game, but from what they've been seeing produced from the game and coming from the backlash of RE3R, they're going to be taking RE4 remake away from M2, taking their partake in the game down an extreme amount, and actually taking the game back in house.
Yeah.
Meaning all that love and care that we're used to getting with Capcom in-house games, a la RE2, we'll be getting with RE4.
That's smart.
That it was a
It's
very
a really
smart.
good call.
Which is something that Capcom doesn't have to do because the game's going to make money regardless. But
I think it's just respectful because RE4, and this is from somebody who like is on the outside looking in. RE4 kind of built a whole new generation of RE fans and horror game fans.
myself included.
Well, just it did a lot of stuff. You know, the tank controls.
It
Just tone of it, like it was just just a solid game. And then it apparently stood the test of time.
It's literally the game that inspired Dead Space. I don't know if anybody remembers the series Dead Space. They literally said when they were making Dead Space, they were literally playing Resident Evil 4 and copying word for word, beat for beat Resident Evil 4. So for me, as someone who basically this game got me into Resident Evil, so to hear that it's being remade, I was like, oh no. And then to hear that M2 was making it, I was like, oh hell no. But now to hear that it's back in Dev 1 Resident Evil 2 people, I'm like, okay, I have hope. I have hope. I can rest now knowing that it's in safe and quality hands.
And it's funny because M2 actually has a very long history with working with Capcom.
They do. Because
after re-downloading Fightcade, a lot of their old IPs are actually made with M2.
And that's because half of the staff are ex Capcom employees and ex Platinum Game employees. So it's like,
It's cool because Dev 1 of Capcom, D1 of Capcom's division that's going to be working on RE4 remake is going to be ex-Platinum members, and RE2 members as well.
I don't know.
I don't know if they're going to bring back Shinji Mikami. I would hope that they bring him back for some of his influence. I don't think he'll direct the game specifically because he has other things he's working on, but I hope that he is brought in to kind of like,
oversee
give some influence. Yeah, to oversee a little bit of it.
Yeah. But what would you, as someone who is the Resident Evil king over here, what would you want to see from Resident Evil 4 remake that wasn't in the original Resident Evil 4, because Resident Evil 4 is just perfect. But there's some things that could change. But
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things in RE4 that are like super cheesy, and I think that's where the charm of the game is that it's cheesy. It's super cheesy.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Sadler, I've been expecting you, my brethren.
No thanks, bro.
So maybe you have 9 lives, but it doesn't matter now, Mr. Kennedy. I've sent my right hand to dispose of you.
Your right hand comes off? Sadler, why don't you give up and let Ashley go home?
Perhaps you are disillusioned with overconfidence, just because you killed my small-time subordinate.
Sadler, you're small time. Looks like this is it.
Ugh, it stinks.
Sure does.
No way, Leon.
Way.
Are you out of your mind?
I knew you'd be fine if you landed on your butt.
I have an idea. Since you're here, why don't I introduce you to it? It should keep you busy.
Can't remember the name, huh? A senior moment, perhaps.
It's very cliche horror aftertones in the game.
which I love.
Yeah, like that's pretty much what everybody loves from the game, is that it's super cheesy horror. Like it's Resident Evil in a way that it should be. Like imagine if every Resident Evil game was made like 4. It would be, all of them would be fucking cult classics.
I mean, we got that in 5 halfway through.
Yeah,
5.
I mean, in terms of what I would want to see from the game, maybe I guess more. I definitely want to see the gore return, because the gore not being in RE3 compared to 2 was a huge bummer.
Yeah, it was weird.
Especially considering this is the time where we're dealing with plagas, the Las Plagas, and how many different variations they have of Las Plagas. It should look as bloody and gory as possible, just like RE2.
You said there was no gore in 3, like it was toned down.
There was
just...
gore, yeah, it was extremely toned down.
Extremely
so in
toned
RE2,
down.
when
And-
you, like,
Mhm.
RE2, you shot at an enemy, and like their like hand or leg would be like decapitated, and it would
Mhm.
like fall off, like it's falling off like the tendons of like the human.
That's dope.
RE3, it would fall off, but it would just fall off, like kind of
Okay.
comically.
Very arcadey.
Yeah, it didn't look. It was
RE2
very
is
very
very
noticeable
visible.
compared to 2.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know if it was because of the environment was too big or whatever happened, but
It's because M2 did it, honestly.
Oh,
It's
God.
not. It's
Now-
because M2 didn't take that
R-
extra time.
Was RE3 first person?
No.
third person.
Was
Over
RE
the shoulder, third person.
okay? And RE2 is the same, right?
hmm It's literally a copy and paste of one game to another. It was just made by 2 different development teams.
Yeah.
Mm.
But again, they chalk it up to RE2 being made in house, because RE2 prior to RE7 was their best selling Resident Evil game of all time.
I have a question for y'all for the remake for RE4, since it seems like they're really gonna take some time to put it with that. Do you think they're gonna pull Final Fantasy
I would hope so.
and
You
switch
mean
the canon up a little bit? Like pull a surprise.
Like ending.
I'm gonna let Andre.
Not an ending per se, but just a different direction.
um
Just a slightly.
Honestly, yeah, I would hope so. Coming from somebody who's never played the original Final Fantasy VII, I've played a bit of it after I finished Remake Part 1.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore what Square Enix did with FF7 Remake compared to the original. They took the very first part of FF7's bombing run, right? In the original game, it takes like 5 to 6 minutes.
5 to
finish
6
that game.
minutes.
On Remake, it's like a whole hour and a half of just the bombing run. Like when you take such little amount of content and stretch it to that astronomical size, you're doing a fantastic job, especially with the way the game looks. 100%, I would hope Capcom would do that. I would be happy waiting I would be happy waiting the same amount of time that Max had to wait for that game for RE4. If it's gonna be that good, I would 100% be happy waiting 3 to 4 or 5 years
I will
for that game to be made perfect.
I will add on to that and say
Go ahead.
for Resident no not Resident Evil for Final Fantasy VII that could work, but also that can be also a detriment because one of the biggest problems I have with Final Fantasy VII is it gets to the point where it gets a little too padded because they're trying to fit something that was like only 10
It
stretch it out to like 30 to 40 hours, and that didn't quite sit with me so well with the remake, but it was still great with Resident Evil 4 remake.
I think the difference there would be that RE is not a fucking RPG like FF7, so there won't be as much padding.
Yeah. And besides, like Resident Evil 4, the original Resident Evil 4, it's just already like it don't need to pad.
Well paced.
Yeah, it's very well paced. Like there's no, you don't need to pad that out anymore. Only thing they would probably.
How long is Resident Evil 4 in terms of length? Like how long would it take to beat it?
If you're speed running it, well, as a first play or a speed run?
As a first player.
As a first play, it'll take you about, I want to say 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
Really? That's kind of short. I thought it was longer than that.
A lot of people think.
If you're sitting there all day, then yeah.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, Resident Evil games at their core are like speedrun games. That's why they're signed.
Yeah, like if you
I didn't know that.
If you played the original the remake of Resident Evil 1.
Actually, if I'm gonna retract that statement. If you're a new player, you're not gonna know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So take that 4 to 5 hours and stretch that to about 10 to 12.
Yeah, it's gonna take
because
10.
Things are difficult in that game for a new player.
Yeah.
Especially the first part of the game with the village.
Yeah. The village part.
I thought the mansion was more difficult. The village was kind of, I guess, more scary, but in just in terms of you don't.
Well, that's
like,
because
the castle. You mean?
Yeah, I guess that's what it's called.
Yeah, the castle is definitely the most difficult part of the game. That's no denying that.
That's because they wrap up the difficulty real fast, real hard, real quick.
But there's also consistent. I forgot the word. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. But with Resident Evil 4, the difficulty changes on how well you're doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing really bad, the game.
It's like
there's a specific room. Yes. Yeah. Basically haptic difficulty. There's a specific room in the castle of RE4. I think it's chapter 3.1 or 3.2, where you have to fight a bunch of enemies while you have Ashley. When you first open that room, there is one Ganado dressed in red in the front that's gonna spawn a Plaga when you kill him. There's 2 enemies next to him, and then there's 2 enemies on his left and 2 enemies on his right holding shields. Then up top from above those 2, there's 2 enemies on a balcony shooting arrows. That's how the room spawns defaultly. If you start doing bad and die too many times in that section, the game will spawn you back into that room, and now there's less enemies. There's like the archers are gone, and there'll be like 1 less of like each shield guy.
Yeah.
But the more better you do, they ramp it up.
But
they do it in such a way that it's unnoticeable, almost unnoticeable.
On professional, all of that is already on hard. So.
Yeah, on professional, there's no haptic difficulty.
Yeah,
it's already cranked up to how hard it can.
Hard it can get. So, good luck.
Now, I'll say something interesting about Resident Evil having that tone to it, which I do remember from watching people playing, just playing a little bit of it myself. For the remake, do y'all think they'll keep that tone or they'll go full on horror?
I don't think they're gonna go full on horror or keep the tone full on either. I think there's gonna be some middle ground. Because you can't. So keep in mind that this whole remake series is going to be this new Leon. We're not getting Alex Mercer as Leon. We're not going to get that same cheesiness that we got from 4.
Not gonna get
Where's everybody going?
No, it's not. It's not going to be the same voice actor. It's going to be a different designed Leon. But keep in mind, this is so RE2 Leon is like a bumbling cop. It's his first day, so he should not be good at anything he's doing. RE4 Leon is like, I work for the president now. I'm fucking godlike, and he knows it. Like he knows that he's really good at what he does.
Sadler.
Yeah.
And he boasts about it in his actions. So I feel like they're gonna keep that in particular.
Your right hand comes up.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll keep the cheesy dialogue. In some ways, I hope they do. In other ways, I hope they change it specifically because they're gonna have to. Because they keep in mind they also retconned RE4 to connect to RE3.
Yeah.
So Nemesis has parts of the Las Plagas parasite within him, and that's why he's able to actually put Blagas on the enemies in 3. So he can use his tentacle and create new parasitic enemies.
Yeah.
So they're gonna, in some way, like they're gonna have to mention Nemesis in 4. Louis Serra is gonna have to become much more of a predominant character, and that's another thing I would like to add in terms of things I'd like to see come from that game. I would like a playable section as Louis.
Yeah, I was saying that. I would also add on to what you said. I would like for them to revamp the Ashley sense system. Like Ashley's cool.
That's extremely dated. The escort parts of the game is dated.
Especially after coming from games like BioShock Infinite and Last of Us.
Oh, Last of Us,
yeah, your AI partner in Last of Us in particular is like they'll pass you ammo, they'll kill enemies for you. I'm not expecting Ashley to roundhouse kick a motherfucker because that's not Ashley.
Right.
But I expect her.
At least give her something.
Yeah, I would love for her to be like, hey,
pass you
Leon,
ammo.
like throw you ammo or like push off enemies or whatever.
Yeah, like she should be able to like fight out of like a Ganado grabbing her.
Yeah, or like dodge out of a Granado's grab.
Yeah, like I shouldn't aim in front of her and she just sits in front of me, like holding her head down. Or like one specific thing that bugs me to no end when playing professional mode for RE4 is after she gets grabbed, right? Like if you're too far away from her and you shoot the enemy carrying her, when she drops down and gets back up, she doesn't know what to do, so she sits there like holding her head down. She doesn't just come to you. That it's in particular is extremely fucking dated and needs to go.
Yeah, it's not even like she crawls to you.
No, yeah, she just sits there and waits for you to come to her. Like you have to get into a certain radius with her for her to start following you again.
Yeah, like they're just very dated, and of course they're gonna revamp the controls because I think like that's one thing I'll appraise Resident Evil 3 remake is that the dodge mechanic in that, beautiful. It is, even though it's broken.
The dodge mechanic is the only way to beat that game in
RE2 or which one?
3. It's broken as fuck. It's broken as fuck, but it is so fucking good.
Is it like a quick dodge or something?
Yeah,
it's a quick dodge and then there's a perfect dodge.
So if you dodge and immediately aim, the character will lock onto the enemy's weak point, and you can just shoot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it breaks the game really bad, especially.
I mean, on lower difficulties, it breaks the game. On Infernal difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty, you literally have to do that, otherwise you die.
Yeah, but on
everything is like a one shot.
But even on like normal difficulty, it just breaks the fucking game. It's like,
no, that's what I'm saying. On every other difficulty, it breaks the game. And on Inferno, it's a must.
Okay.
Yeah. But in terms of things I'd like to see from RE4, I'd like to see them integrate everything that they did with RE2 into 4. Keep a hint of the cheesiness. Make the Ganados a little bit more terrifying.
Yeah.
Those are ones
keep all the funny Spanish lines that they have, because if they take that out, I would be very sad. I need consistent reasons to just yell out randomly. Ahí está.
Some of the stuff that the Spanish people be saying in that game is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and they be legit cursing you out.
Yeah.
In Spanish. And a lot of people just don't pay attention to it.
You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, get the fuck out of my face. It's like, wait, what?
Sorry to it, Bobby.
Yeah, like the first cutscene where you're in the house and Leon's like, hey, have you seen this girl? And he's like, ¿Qué carajo está haciendo aquí? Lágate, cabrón. He's like, what the hell are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here. And then he attacks you. Like, a lot of people don't really,
sorry to it, Bobby.
Stuff like that.
I think Leon, it's funny because every time I hear that line, I keep thinking to myself, Leon knows what the fuck they're saying. But we just don't know. That's why he's like, sorry to bother you.
Yeah, I want them to keep that. I want to see how they do all the castle stuff with Salazar, because he's a little midget. So I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with that. If they're either going to cut him out completely for a new character or make Salazar an actual normal-sized human.
I mean, would you be down with that? Would you be down with?
I'd be okay with it simply because that's another part of the game that's dated.
What? You can't have an evil midget man running around fighting.
No, but the thing is that Salazar is like a little elf man, and with Resident Evil's new like realistic look, it doesn't work. Nobody actually looks like that.
Come on, man. You
It's
can
gonna
get a.
look
You can
fake
get.
as hell
You're gonna
compared
get.
to
Just get a
other
midget.
characters.
Just get a
Speaking
midget.
of, or do you think they're gonna keep? Because Resident Evil 4 had those quick time event knife battles.
No,
Uh,
they should only keep like maybe the Krauser one and a couple other ones, but a lot of those
Yeah.
quick time events are gonna be taken out.
I
There's no way you're gonna be running from a 8 foot tall giant stone Salazar and jumping off a bridge with one hand. Like, it's so stupidly dated. It's not gonna work.
That would look dope.
fucking come on, Andre. You don't want to get on the fucking train cart and just have to fucking like
I don't think they'll
jump
take
out.
out the minecart scene, but that specific big ass statue thing.
There were a lot of quick time events in that game.
Yeah.
I feel like they'll reduce it, not get rid of it. But if anything, if they keep all of it, what they could easily do, and this is something Last of Us Part 2 does, is have the turn off the quick time. There's an option in the main menu that you can just turn off quick times or automatic quick times or hold down a button for quick times. So for those that really don't like quick times, just have it be turned off.
I mean, there's a lot of quick times, but it's not like they last a fucking long time.
And
They're
the-
very
yeah,
short.
they're
the longest
very
one is the
short.
Krauser one, and it's unskippable. That's the only one that's unskippable.
Yeah, true. I mean, but
But other than that, there's just the Boulder cutscene, the Boulder quick time events where you just have to press
Indiana
a button.
Jones. Indiana
Yeah,
Jones.
that's the only. There's just that one. There's the one where you have to like wiggle the joystick if you get like caught.
Wiggle-
Which is,
mash the button
I
and
don't really
wiggle the stick.
consider that a quick.
It's not necessary. It's just
It's
like
not
something-
necessary, but you know, it's a staple of Resident Evil games. Every
Yeah.
single Resident Evil game has like, you know, you press a button to get this character off of you, otherwise you take more damage.
Or
So that I don't think is going to be taken.
Or
away
they can, if they want to do the lame way, they can do the Resident Evil 2 remake way, which is like if you have a defense item, you can.
Nah, that's not going to work.
I don't.
The
I
only
wouldn't
reason
want
I don't
that.
think it's going to work is simply because the items in RE2 are breakable. They're
Yeah.
not breakable in 4.
Now, is it safe to say RE5 is getting a remake too?
Fuck. No.
Not before Code Veronica, no.
Really?
Yeah, Code Veronica needs it the most.
Holds up pretty well, personally.
Only thing.
I don't think RE5 is going to need a remake anytime soon. It's
Oh.
only a decade old.
Yeah.
I feel like they would only do it for the co-op.
Yeah.
Only but Resident Evil 4 still holds up. So I mean, Resident Evil 5 still holds up.
Yeah, 5 and 6
Resident Evil
holds up.
4, again, it's a cult classic.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. A remake now still would look dope.
Like the way I see remakes going forward after 4, it should be Code Veronica and then the Outbreak series.
And then
Okay.
And then
It should be all the RE games that are well known that are static camera angled specifically.
and then you do Devil May Cry.
RE4 is just a cat.
Oh my god!
Then you do Devil May Cry 1 remake and then Devil May Cry 2 remake, especially
Devil May
2.
Cry remake. They did the
Not
first
even
one already. It was called It was called DMC Devil May Cry.
Shut the up.
It was pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, a lot of
Get
people
out.
liked it. So they already did it.
Shut up. Anywho, well,
And
yeah.
you know what sucks is that game didn't make a lot of money. And so that's why they're not doing it.
Shut the fuck up.
Then why would they do DMC2 if a lot of people don't like that game?
I'm saying Devil May Cry 2
Remake.
remake.
No, because nobody fucking wants that.
Nobody necessarily.
Nobody on earth. Like, yo, you know
the
what's
whole
left
Devil
right
May
now?
Cry community wants that, sir. Please shut the fuck
Hey,
up,
all 20 of y'all.
I play that
Yeah.
game with a guilty pleasure.
sir. Devil May Cry 2 is fucking garbage. It's so boring.
It's not as much of a cash grab as any Resident Evil remake.
I'd
That's
take-
from a business standpoint. That's the only reason it's not gonna
The
happen.
only one that would make sense to remake would be 3. That's it.
Yeah, and
Don't-
even that one
ooh.
is kind of a stretch.
Oh no! Don't remake fucking Devil May Cry 2. That's perfect as it is, especially on the Switch version. It's
Agree.
perfect. Devil May Cry 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Two-
RE4, I think that's the only changes I would want.
Yeah, I think
And
the
I think an easy cash grab DLC is make a Lewis section, just like Ada separate ways. There should be a Lewis section where he's playable.
to almost wrap this one up. For me, what I would want in Resident Evil 4 remake is for the Lost Progress that's in Leon. I would actually like a story element where it's like actually doing hallucination, almost like the Hookman demo. So like years ago, Resident Evil 4 had like multiple phases, and I believe like phase 2 or 1 had like
1.5. So phase
yeah,
2.
it had like hallucinations in that where you were seeing enemies or seeing shit that wasn't actually
Really?
there.
In 4?
Yes, because
Yeah,
remember,
there's a Hookman Devil version. Keep in mind, RE4 has been through literally 4 different versions of that
yeah,
game.
it
The fourth
Hmm.
being the final one. The first version ended up becoming Devil May Cry 1. The second version was actually Leon's going to be experiencing hallucinations and fighting Ghost. So they were actually going to go the Ghost route with the game, but
which
they
is
ended up
funny.
trashing it.
Which is funny because that's in Resident Evil 7.
That's crazy.
That's interesting now that you think about it because they were originally was doing the ghost shit, and then they brought it back in 7. That's so funny to me.
I don't think they would do hallucinations just because the Plagas doesn't really. They're not. It's not a symptom of the Plagas typically.
I would just
I
like it.
think making it so that some of your movement is hindered and certain things you can't do are hindered, like throughout the game. I mean, if the only way I can see that working is if it's randomly like oh now I'm in pain, or like since Leon takes pills that Lewis gets him, maybe there could be like a meter where you have to like every now and then take a pill, but that might get more annoying than it's
Yeah,
actually.
that would get it. Unless it's for a little short segment, I can see that
Yeah,
working.
like maybe for like a section of Leon's game where it's like, okay, now you have to like manage, like maybe there's like something going on with the plot as it's like really starting to
It,
take
it it
over.
can be almost like the Carlos section of Resident Evil 3, even though that one is not particularly that great. Where
Something like that,
yeah,
but
something like that.
I don't see something like that really happening.
I would just like to see them do something with that, with something more with the podcast, because it's like, oh, and we talked about this on your live stream. Shout outs to my bros live stream. Go watch his live stream. We talked about it, and I did say like I always found it funny as hell that these guys put a parasite in this man's body, and I know it takes time. I know in lore it takes time for it to fully grow into an adult. But they put a parasite in this man's body, and then they're like, yeah, we're going to chop off your fucking neck. Like, I always found that funny as a kid. It's like, well, why don't y'all just lock them up?
They had no need for Leon. They just put it in him just in case.
But all they have to do is lock that motherfucker up and then wait until the parasite grows into
They
a
did.
devil.
You forget that they did. They locked him
They
up. with
did. They did. And then they got a
And they
fucking
got out,
axe
yeah,
man.
so.
And then they got an axe man to come and chop that motherfucker up. And that was stupid.
Well, that Ganado specifically was on some other shit. So I don't think he was kind of specifically sent there to do that because he was already kind of messed up on the way there. Because keep in mind, the parasites, they don't alter the person. The person still works in the same way that they used to. They're just under control now.
So you was trying to say he was drunk and mad that Leon took his girl?
No. They're still like hostile. Like they're
Yeah.
to do what they do. But I'm saying like remember when towards the end of the game where Sadler is like, oh, so you killed Krauser too. Once the eggs hatch, I'll make sure you're my personal bodyguard because you're apparently so good at killing other people that I don't like. And it's because even when you're infected, you still have all the traits that you had prior, but now you're just under a slave
mind.
a parasite host type of thing.
Yeah. I hope if they actually do the Ada section again, like I hope that would be more
I hope they
integral.
make that more interactive.
Yeah, more interactive, more integral.
It's a very quick 5 chapters. It's like, I could do that in like an hour.
Yeah, you because you really don't like the Ada section is really like whatever. I mean, it's cool, but it's like whatever. You don't need.
Yeah, it just gives you more lore. That's
Yeah,
about it.
but
it's not 100% necessary, but I wouldn't take it out either.
Yeah,
Bring back mercenaries. 100% bring back mercenaries. In this style of type of RE game now, we have yet to have a mercenaries with
listen,
the new RE engine.
We not even gonna get into what my second wish is, like actual mercenaries, free to play mercenaries mode.
I don't think they'll make us pay for it. It should be in the game.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that they should have like a mercenaries a Mercenaries like reunion style thing, and it has the control scheme of Resident Evil 6. That would be.
Yeah, but they would have to animate a lot more animations. And
They're not gonna spend that bread. They're not gonna spend that bread because I love Mercenaries.
I just hope that it's super moddable again, because I'm trying to play as Krauser again.
Oh my goodness. Anywho, I think we're near the end of this podcast because we went on a long time about Resident Evil. God damn it.
Two specific topics.
It was interesting though.
Yeah, we about to wrap this up. Okay, we're gonna speed through this. Tomb Raider has a anime coming out, so get ready. Wait, what? You don't care? You don't care about Tomb Raider, bro?
I mean, I care about Tomb Raider a little bit, but
I wonder what she's gonna do in the anime. Raid some tombs. I mean, who's?
It's gonna be based off of
the Crystal Dynamics.
Yes, the Crystal Dynamics games.
Which I'm 100% fine with because the first Tomb Raider story was.
I mean, who's making the anime?
That's a good question.
I'll look it up right now.
That matters.
Oh, it's written by the same person who did Underwater, and is being produced by the same person who's doing the Witcher Blood animated short. Ooh. I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm 100% fine with it, just because I think the I played through the story. I own all three, and I did really good, especially the first one.
The first one is good.
With Yokai and Himiko and Yamatai, I thought it was really dope.
Yeah.
They're also working on a King Kong anime. Okay.
Yes, but nobody.
Now we're talking.
Nobody gives a fuck about that. But
after just watching that movie. That movie looked great.
Nah,
I'd rather do a kaiju.
Yeah, I'd rather get a kaiju.
King Kong.
Yeah.
Kaiju, I think, are more interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
they are more interesting.
It is what it is. I'm looking forward to this Tomb Raider anime because the Tomb Raider, like Andre said, the fucking Tomb Raider reboot series.
Yeah, it's good.
It's so good.
Really good.
It's so good.
And the live action movie was really good too. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't what I wanted.
Well, I mean, it followed the game.
It did
follow. The only exception was her dad was alive in the live action.
Yeah.
Her dad isn't alive in that.
It wasn't as gritty as I wanted it to be because the first Tomb Raider game is fucking gritty. It's like Jesus.
Yeah.
Like Lord.
When she had to contemplate. She had to finally contemplate on killing people and having to do what she needs to do, son. I was like, oh, snap. We in this, baby. I was smacking people around, bro.
This girl was getting fucking tossed around, stabbed up, fucking shot up. Every minute. Throwing rock. Every minute, this girl was getting fucked up. She'd be
dead, essentially.
Yeah. Like, she has a death wish.
It was more like I think she went through more pain than I think Nathan.
Yo,
100%.
100%. I mean, this was her first.
Nathan having less fun.
Nathan Drake's having fun. Like Laura's actually getting banged up and shit. Like fucking feeling pain.
Yeah. First one she has to fight with the wolves and shit. The second one she has to fight a bear. Like, Nathan Drake had it easy.
Yeah, Nathan Drake.
She be running to wildlife. Oh my god, son.
Nah,
that's part of the story. It's not even like optional. No, that's the story. She has to.
Yeah, because the first game is really about her. Like she was like, this is my first time going out of town and going on adventures. Yeah, we're just gonna go and search and shit. And then the fucking boat crash. I'm getting
bears.
And bears, wild people.
Maybe Nathan Drake is better at the job.
Like what? The only wild animal.
I feel like you're a hater.
Are you saying the wage page gap is not real?
The Yetis.
Listen. Leave my man alone. He doing well. All right. Well, skipping that. Returnal, PS5 exclusive, got delayed. Returnal that got delayed until April. So April 30th that got delayed. So Hey, take a loss. It's okay, guys. Delays are good. It's all good. But I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to it only because like I played Death Stranding recently, and this feels like has a Death Stranding vibe to me. I don't know why.
The graphics definitely have that vibe too.
Yeah, and Death Stranding. By the way, if anybody has not played Death Stranding, please go play it. It's so fucking good. It's so fucking good. I'm sorry. All
You and Mark, son.
I'll play UPS Simulator during quarantine version 2.
It's so fucking good. Yeah, I need to try it. But yeah, so that's delayed. Last but not least, PlayStation, fucking next month, of course, PlayStation Plus, free games. Get your free games. Get your free games. Please get your free games.
Yo, what was the free game that they gave? Oh yeah, Tomb Raider. I took the last Tomb Raider. I was like, oh, I didn't have that
The
one.
third
Got it
Tomb
now.
Raider. Yes.
Shadow Control.
Yeah, for this one is Destruction All Stars for the PS5, exclusively for the PS5. Then a very controversial one, Control Ultimate Edition.
Control is fucking trash.
Yo, yeah.
Whoa,
Bucko, you're gonna. That's a strong word there, my nigga.
You didn't like?
Wanna
No,
fight
I did
that?
not.
You wanna explain why you didn't like it?
Control is 100% terribly paced. That's number one.
Sir,
Control
you play
has
Resident Evil.
Probably the worst pacing I've ever.
Sir,
had.
you play Resident
That's
Evil.
number one. Number two, and probably my biggest gripe, is that the enemies are so extremely uninspired. Like they are so generic. They have nothing.
I'll
going
agree
on.
with the first one. The second one, I would say, I definitely agree because the game goes between. First of all, I feel like
I get the game's supposed to be confusing. I 100% get that, but there's like
no, I don't think
semblance
it's
of a
supposed to be
story going on.
confusing. I think it's the building itself kind of takes center stage almost as a character in a way because you're fighting against things and so on. It's definitely paced horribly because you go through points really not much happening, and then you have that part at the end, which with a lot of switching rooms, which is arguably like the best sequence in the game, and then it just kind of you have that part where it's like a loop, which just comes out of nowhere, and then it just kind of ends.
Yeah, like there's
then
no,
you're like, okay,
there's not a lot of like room for like, okay, that was kind of cool. Like it's like it's a very very quick hit and miss kind of game. I don't appreciate that.
It all rests on how interesting you find the setting. Like that's what kind of kept me going. I was like, all right.
I didn't find it interesting at all.
Yeah, I like
Resident Evil.
I really like the design of the whatever you want to call it, the tower, I thought it was dope.
The set, I forgot it was called. It's like the
and whenever like you would go to the other worlds or when you fight that like there was always enough keeping me playing it. Like when you fight that monster, in the containment zone, and just the way some of the rooms just kind of like defy reality, but the enemies are just kind of security dudes who just have red eyes.
I don't like. It's like for a game that is so weird, like Control, I would expect more like weird enemies to come from them instead of just these generic jobber-looking guys.
Also, the main character is again she's not interesting.
Yeah, she's not interesting.
Funny enough,
she's no Alan Wake.
Biggest jaw I've ever seen.
Funny enough, I watched the soap, that she's on. She's on, I think, if I'm not mistaken, fucking General Hospital. No, not General Hospital. Bold and the Beautiful. She's on Bold and the Beautiful, and she's so fucking sexy in real life. I'm just saying.
That's what that was leading up. She's sexy.
Yeah, she's sexy. Nah, she's actually really talented in that show. So, but she's really.
She wasn't that talented in Control. I'm sorry.
Hey.
Well, didn't they try to do a thing where it's like almost like a TV show in Control? Or am I thinking about something else?
Yeah, sort of. But remember,
the gameplay was really fun. Like the feeling of it. Like they got the gameplay right, and just exploring like the tower.
I had issues with the combat and the gameplay.
You're not.
I found
because there's times where I'm like shooting an enemy and it's so obvious that they should be like stunned by what I'm doing, and they just kind of like fucking bulldoze through everything I'm doing.
Sir,
like there was times where I'm dying in parts where I'm like, yo, what is hitting me? There's nothing hitting me around me, and I just die.
sir.
I would. I don't think that because that's definitely because of the clarity. Because there's definitely some bullets they would throw at you, like, oh, I didn't even know that was happening.
Yeah, like there's so much stuff that they're like there's things that they throw at you half the time you don't even it doesn't look like anything's
Yeah.
happening.
Well, there's a lot of particle effects going on too
Yeah.
in that game.
Um,
Particle effects are crazy. Yeah,
Uh,
I found the game really fun. It definitely feels good to play, and the setting's interesting. But from just a standpoint, it just kind of fails.
I mean, I
There's
streamed
no.
it. I had a couple people
Mhm.
watching, and that was
Yeah,
sort of the
I watched
general
the stream.
consensus. It was just like this is kind of fucking boring, dude.
Yeah.
Like it went from boring to somewhat interesting to just frustrating, and I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. Not
Yeah,
a
it's
single
not.
part of this game have I felt like happy.
well, I haven't.
Mm,
Well, as someone who didn't play it and just knows the actress, it seems like it would be probably somewhat around my alley only because of like the way how the company who made this, I forgot their fucking names. The way
yeah,
how
I
they
don't like that.
the way how they like tell their stories, it usually quite doesn't make sense at first, but then as you complete it, once you beat it, it
Made by Remedy
Nah,
Entertainment.
Remedy.
bro. Nah, I'm telling you, that story is just not that interesting. It's
Okay.
like it's really
I
nothing
would
that.
say the same
It,
thing about Alan Wake because at first I wasn't into Alan Wake. I wasn't into
okay.
I wasn't into Alan Wake at first, but then like as soon as we
Uh,
got like halfway through, I was like, huh, okay, this is
I think
interesting.
Control really lives and dies by the powers. I really found the telekinesis
Mm.
satisfying, like floating. The weight of the game, like the weight of the powers, I thought that really felt good.
Mm.
Um, and I didn't like backtracking that much, but again, every time
Oh,
I was like, all right, I'm about done. Something would interesting happen. Like I would find a really interesting area where I find interesting something to do with the powers. I'm like, okay, that was something I didn't know before. And so I was like,
interesting.
whatever.
Hmm.
And then when you get to the end of that game, and that there's a sequence that happens where it's like there's music playing, like like the janitor character Andre,
Yeah.
like everything with him I was like, okay, this is interesting. And that voidish area where there's like just bridges, I was like, okay. Like the more I dug into the game, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then that part happens, like, oh shit, this is about to get really good. And then it just kind of ends. And then some areas of the game are just like, this is, I'm really getting tired of this.
Hmm.
Yeah, like that
I
what
would
happened to
definitely
me.
agree with the pacing. The
And so I'm
game.
actually looking at like a review for because I looked up
Mhm,
Control to see what who the publisher was, and I
yeah.
think kind of to sum up what you're saying is kind of like in this review. So, like the first sentence is this is one of the best experiences with a new game I've had in a long time, but with a few minor annoyances. Um, uh, Somebody who has basically a hard time finishing games without getting bored. He said this held his attention for
Mhm,
the most part with like its pseudo magic shooter combat system, blah blah blah.
yeah.
But he said like Jessie and of herself is kind of like not fleshed out at all. The
It's not.
ending did not have an explosive ending like you would come to desire
This
from
didn't
like
really
how the
make
story's
like
being
it comes
played.
out of nowhere.
But
Yeah,
but
like
Okay.
but Remedy's
they were
endings are
underwhelming.
never. I'm gonna just say it right
It
now. Like Remedy's endings are never that like
bro, from
great.
playing it, it's just like with Alan Wake, it was more like plot driven. Like it was like, okay, the
Yeah.
writer, the meta symbolism, whatever. Control, kind of. It's not that, or I mean, what's happening is weird and kind of creepy, but the people who interact with are not that down about it. Like there's other people in the building, so it's not really like horror-ish.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's Jesse is like, okay, she has amnesia or something. Oh no, she's trying to. I'm sorry, she's trying to get her brother back. But that whole thing isn't like the revelation about what happens in like them spying on her is kind of dope. But again, the bureau, this organization is more interesting than anything Jesse ever says or does in the game.
Yeah.
The most thing she's just there for the player to throw like rocks at other people. She herself is not interesting in the slightest. She's
I
not
agree
bad.
with you.
She's just boring, and she's just
Yeah,
there
like I
to
think she's boring, and then on top of that, I was like, okay, maybe the fights would be kind of interesting. And I was like, it was the one fight with that dude floating, and I was like, all I gotta do is hide behind these pillars and throw shit at him. And I was like, that's the gimmick of this fight,
Hmm.
because it's like if I stand out in front and try to shoot him, I take like 90% fucking damage from everything he does. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, this is whack. Like, no, I don't want to just sit here and throw shit at
I
it.
would, yeah, I would definitely you switching back and forth between the powers and the shields, was really key. Again, like I said, like if you don't like the fights at all, the game is not really
I
worth
did
it.
not.
I liked floating. I liked how I just like how the powers felt. Um, but then near the end, also, it's like, okay, I really don't. I don't know. It should have been. I get what they were going for. It almost feels like kind of old schoolish in some ways, and how it's
I mean,
structured.
that's Remedy in a nutshell. They're very old school in their.
But I don't know. It like if it should have been this one game, it should have been more linear. This should have been a much more linear. It shouldn't have been. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
I
at
like
times I got lost like a lot, and I'm like, where the fuck am
I
I? Like
like
I'm
the
looking at
set.
this map and I
Yeah,
still don't know where I'm at.
yeah, definitely. I also one thing I also loved about the game was how destructible everything was. I did love that. I did like
Get it on
the
the
destructible
PC.
environments,
The
but
PC
again,
version
it's
is
like
better.
that gets boring after a while.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's a solid game. I wouldn't call it bad. I liked my time with it. It needed another like second draft for its story, or I don't know,
Level design and story had to kind of be looked
or
over.
just like more parts like that sequence at the end. Like it was great, and that's the only time that happens in the game where it's like a lot of music. It's really like just kind of going full force with its premise, and then the game ends, and then that ending is just like, oh, you're stuck in a loop, but it's like, why? What does this have to do with anything? And then it just,
Basically,
yeah,
Probably
and this,
the DLCs will explain itself because this is the Ultimate Edition, so it comes with the
yeah,
DLCs. It comes with everything. A lot of people had a lot of issues
yeah,
with this, but
and then. Yeah, and
continue.
then like, the game ends, and you're like, "Oh, I am the protector of this place." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." It just kind of is like it's more of like just the story's gonna continue than an ending. It's like, okay, whatever.
Well, I'll give it a shot on my PC because I
I
ain't
mean,
playing this
whenever it
fucking.
gets the DLC looked good, like, and if
Yeah.
it does get a sequel, I might try it out because again, the setting,
I
like, I
doubt.
Well,
would love this world. I really like. I like these. It's basically the SCP. Just
Well, have you
instead, you
played
have.
Quantum Break? Because it's essentially another Control.
but a
Is
lot of
that the
people,
same company?
yeah,
Hmm.
but a lot of people did not
No, I
like
Disney
haven't played Quantum
Control,
Break yet.
Alan Wake, and Quantum Break.
and Max Payne.
I know I didn't get a chance to play Quantum Break. I know it did the kind of the same thing where it was like almost like a TV show too.
Yeah, same kind of
Um,
setting too.
I might have to try it out again because I like the setting. I liked the design of it. That kind of German architecture, brutalism. I think it's called. Yeah, I liked how claustrophobic it could get, but I definitely the pacing is terrible. It does not know how to tell its story at all.
And then the last game for the free games is Content
Hmm.
Genie.
Is what?
I think Content Genie is it
Con con Concrete Genie.
Oh, Concrete. I can't content. Fuck that.
Jeez.
Never heard of it.
No, I've
That
never
one's
heard of this game.
interesting. It's basically like I believe it's a platformer, but one of the main thing about the game is that part like I think throughout any point in the game you can kind of just create these creatures out of graffiti on the wall.
Venom.
Action adventure, and it seems pretty cool. Like it seems like just kind of like a little nice concept.
Venom.
Um, got relatively good reviews, so yeah.
I guess.
The only game that has been like free recently that I kind of like wish I had a
Oh.
P5 so I don't miss out on was actually Maneater, that shark game.
Mhm.
Well, you can still get it. You can still get it now. Just download it, and that's the thing. As long as you
I
have
don't have a
PlayStation Plus,
PS5, so.
then you don't need a PS5. Just download it, and then when you get the PS5, you can play it. That's it. It's gonna be
Yeah,
saved
this
on your. It's gonna saved on your account. So, again, for those that are looking to get a PS5, please, for the love of God, and you have PlayStation Plus, please, for the love of God, just download the game. Just put it in your library.
Put it in your
Cause
library. Yep, everything in your library.
yeah, just put it in your
Download it.
library. Even if you're not gonna play the fucking game, just Put it in your library. It's free, nigga.
Should be
Bro,
It's
I
doing
free.
got,
that
I
every
got,
month with all the free
I got,
games.
I got
Yeah.
Shadows of Mordor on
Because
my
it
library.
doesn't matter if it's like a free
On
game. So
like,
a game is a game.
Yeah. It's just take it, because out of all of these, I'm telling you right now, Destruction All Stars is speaking to me for some odd fucking reason.
Yo, son, it's
It's
the
just some
one
odd
thing
reason.
it looks so fun. I love everything about it. I love the look of it. I love car combat. I love how it's just so how stylish it is.
Exactly. So,
I love games that really just kind of go wild in that really silly direction. And then
listen,
car combat that's not Twisted Metal. I'm interested in.
this is our answer to Twisted Metal, I guess. So.
I'm fine. I hope the player base is high because these kind of games kind of live and die on how many people are playing them.
Well, now that it's free to play,
I
as
mean,
long as you
it'll have a little bump, but let's see. I mean, who has a PS5? That's the thing. You know,
hey man,
like
hey
the only
guys.
person I know in a 100-mile radius with a PS5.
Thank you. Come
That's
back
been a
anytime.
compliment.
But now let's just wrap it up. I think that's it with the news. I think, is there any other topics any of y'all motherfuckers wanna?
Godzilla versus Kong. I don't know.
Motherfucker. All right, we gonna talk about that.
Zilla, bitch.
We're gonna talk about that a little later. But yeah, I guess that's it for the podcast.
Yeah,
Episode
pretty
2. Wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. So, guys, outros. James.
This is an interesting one. Stuff to talk about Resident Evil and everything else was
This was the
cool.
Resident Evil podcast. All right.
You know. But yeah, we're finding our groove. We had the human Resident Evil encyclopedia, Andre, here to help us out and make sense of it. But that was nice. Yeah, it was nice. We're slowly finding our groove.
Yeah. Andre said, yeah, because honestly, I want to say, like, big shout outs to Andre, because this is the reason why I wanted him to come, because I was like, Jesus, this is a lot of Resident Evil shit to get through. I can't do it. So I'm like, let me bring the encyclopedia.
Why make it a topic if you're not even sure you can talk about it?
Oh, no, I was going to talk about it, but I knew you were going to do it 10 times better than me because you're passionate about Resident Evil. Even when I listen to you on the stream,
you're just gonna read from Wikipedia.
Yeah. if it was Devil May Cry, it would have been more it would definitely be passionate. But it's like Resident Evil. I'm like, okay, well, it's Resident Evil. I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, there's no DMC showcase, sadly.
Shut the fuck up, man. Leave me alone. I don't want my showcase. Can't get that shit. Anywho,
You DMC fans are so greedy.
Man, we are struggling now. Oh wait, actually no, we're not struggling. I'm sorry. That's
Not
Roy.
like Beautiful Joe fans.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, not struggling.
Now you're gonna remaster, right?
Yeah, I can't even get that.
I'm just sitting here with my fucking
Crazy.
red helmet.
Tommy has gotten like that remaster and everything. I don't think
Oh,
Tommy's more popular
right.
than Beautiful Joe.
Oh my god, that is so true. But
Only reason I feel like they did that is because people who worked on Beautiful Joe are like part of like, well, no, because they're like part of Platinum and shit. I don't know.
No, I think it's because the Beautiful
There's
Joe.
no reason for not to.
The Beautiful Joe team is the original Devil May Cry 1 team, so I guess that's punishment.
I feel like they would show it love, like damn, like a re-release.
I don't fucking know. Anywho,
You got an anime, like shit.
Anywho, I'm fucking Roy. You haven't said much this whole episode, but you still get an outro, you bitch ass.
Yeah, it was really not much to say.
You
But
motherfucker.
yeah, it was good to be here and get a lot of. You guys still hear me?
Yeah. Oh my god. Nah, he probably getting his dick wet, bro. I swear to God, he's probably got some hoe. He got some hoe over there. That's why he wasn't
There's
paying.
literally just not much to say.
There was a whole bunch of whatever. Anywho,
I'm not the Resident Evil expert, so you know.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I think none of us are. When it comes to Resident Evil, that's Andre's territory.
Yeah, that's why you need a number.
That's Andre, and then it's me. But I knew Andre was gonna say it better than me. JT.
You don't have to be an expert to have an opinion.
Yeah, you really don't.
I only have like, you know, I do have a heart for Resident Evil. You know, I'm there. Like, I'm not the biggest fan like, you know, Andre or Jihi, but you know, I got Resident Evil like what 2 on my plate right now to get through.
Nah, you
And
need to get through the
that
whole series. You
shit,
sit the fuck down because
bro.
you told
I
me
would love it.
you
And
said
then
you didn't even play fucking Resident Evil 4. So get the fuck out my face, bro.
I
That
haven't
should
played
be
Resident
me.
Evil.
look, man,
All
this is
y'all
not
some
my
lames.
series like that. This is not my series
Yeah,
like that. I
I've never
played
played on it.
6.
I just never
I
sat down and
I,
bothered to
I
play it.
played 6
You
just
know when I've
because I
actually
saw
really played through
characters
is
that I
5.
knew.
Yo, Andre, you hear this nonsense, man?
Not
Yo.
surprised.
Oh my
Keep in mind,
goodness.
I don't think 4 is a bad game. It's a great game. I just never had the time to play it.
Yeah, just never had the chance or something. And then what? Some of the old Resident Evils, like yeah, they had the dodge mechanic, but I didn't like that I couldn't run. Sometimes I was like,
Oh
I was
my
scared.
god.
I was scared
That's the
shitless to
point.
run
You're not
fast.
supposed
I
to
was
run.
like,
You're
nah.
supposed to be scared.
Oh my
I was like, nah.
Yeah, that and Resident Evil
Play all
games
my
don't just
games
scare me
on
that
kid
much.
mode, bro. I don't know
god.
what you're talking about.
Oh my
The only
god.
game that truly the only 2 series in terms of games that terrified me are the Grudge and the Fear series.
Oh, sheesh.
Really?
But
The
Fiasco was
only
like
fair?
2
kind of,
series that I will have to sleep with the lights on.
Fair?
bro.
Oh,
Bro, Manhunt I think is more scarier than Fear.
yeah.
Man,
I don't
I
want
mean,
to.
it's
I'm
disturbing.
not talking about Fear 3 because Fear 3 wasn't scary. It wasn't terrifying, which is why I didn't like it that
Man,
much.
you got slow
It was
motion.
very, very action heavy, and it wasn't even scary. It was just I
Silent Hill
was
kind of
very
fucked me up.
disappointed by Fear 3.
Yeah, Silent Hill is understandable though. Silent Hill is fucking super disturbing.
Like I could not
Silent Hill
do.
is definitely up there as well.
Um,
But it doesn't like give me goosebumps, but I do think it is actually pretty scary.
Imagine if
I'm trying
Kojima
to think
actually
of one
did.
that.
Imagine if Kojima
Yeah, I remember.
actually.
You ever played Condemned?
Yeah, Condemn scares me. I cannot play. I cannot play
another
Condemn.
game. Another game I can't play. Outlast.
Oh yeah, I get
No
that.
way. in
Bro,
hell
I-
I'm
I-
playing
I-
Outlast.
don't be a bitch. Play
Ain't
Outlast.
no fucking way.
I don't.
I play that
I'm
bitch.
not. I'm not even gonna
I
hold you. I'm
understand.
not even. I'm not even gonna hold
I'd
you. I'm not
rather-
even.
I'd
I'm not
rather
even
be
touching
chased by
Outlast.
Mr. X than play Outlast.
Bro, Outlast has one of the best fucking stories in a horror game that I've ever come to know.
Wait, Outlast 1 or 2?
Scares the shit
One.
out of me.
Okay.
Outlast
story is
2 is kind of like
amazing.
more disturbing than anything because it's like kind of goes into like rape territory and other shit.
Really?
But Outlast 1 is like oh wow, there's a lot of shit going on. Like there's a lot of backstory, and then like your main character gets tangled up in it. Then the DLC lets you play like the prequel to what happens in the main game. And, like, so basically, like the main game is the main game, right? But then the DLC is a prequel, and then it starts to take place during and then after all the events of the main game.
It's called like The Witness or something like that. Right?
Whistleblower.
Whistleblower. I remember. Yeah, I remember a little bit of the.
Bro, I would 100%. I would stream that game. Like I would play that game again. That game is so good.
If you stream it, I'll watch it because I ain't playing that shit. I
Yeah, I
barely
would
got
too.
past Resident Evil
I'll
fucking
watch it,
7.
but I'm not
I'd
gonna
watch it if
play
you
I don't have the phone.
You already knew me and
The
me.
game I cannot watch gameplay of is The Grudge. I mean, I fucking looked at the cover and I had to sleep with the lights on. It's one of the, you should really stream it. It's one of the best.
All right.
It's a real
I don't
horror
like watching
story.
a
It's
movie.
actually scary. Like a lot of games I don't find scary, but that game is actually
I'd have to
fucking
get my
scary.
hands
Like,
on it.
if you sit down and play it in your room by yourself in the dark, even if people are watching it, it's pretty fucking creepy and
Well,
scary.
for what's
They did a great fucking job. Especially the ending, like the ending is just the game is like so good. Not a lot of people know about the Grudge Wii simulator, but it is one of the best horror simulators.
Yeah, I'm supposed to do these
around.
outros to get y'all out of here. He's still stuck in.
It's just like
You told Roy he didn't talk, so now he's talking.
Yeah.
My son. Yeah. Son's getting it all out
This is his
now.
outro.
This is outro. So go ahead.
that's the only fucking that game scares me. The Grudge is the only, in terms of horror in general, The Grudge is the only thing that truly frightens me. It leaves me with like start having hallucinations. I start hearing shit. Fucking.
Yeah, so
I become super paranoid. Like I
think you just watched The Grudge. Actually, I think you just watched the actual video.
Picture of this cover, and I was like mad uncomfortable when I had to sleep with the lights on and shit.
Alright, cool. So we know how to scare you on Halloween. Thank you.
yeah.
I'm gonna just slip the disc under his door when he started acting up.
Yo,
Nah,
no!
Like, yo,
bro.
give me the fucking rent. Not playing. Just keep throwing the case under the door.
I would have to get my hands on The Grudge too. I stream it. I would like to stream Fatal Frame as well.
You don't.
Oh, I
I was
was just
thinking, yeah,
about
Fatal
to say
Frame.
that. I was just about
Fatal
to
Frame,
say
I never got the chance to play.
But we about to start a whole nother topic.
Yeah. We
This podcast
JT,
about to go an hour long. That's all that
JT,
we
you
can
got
save
anything to say so we get the fuck out? JT,
I think we
JT.
good. No, I think we're all good. You know.
Oh my God. Okay, Andre.
You know, just one love, one love.
Oh my
Good
God.
night. You know?
Andre. You had the show today, so say your final piece.
You guys got the most unprofessional podcast on YouTube.
you guys. Listen,
Hey.
we're not even getting paid for this.
Yeah, we're not getting paid for this.
Jahi.
Yes, which I appreciate it. So fuck you, Andre.
You
See, I come on here and I try to give you love. Exactly. I try to give Andre love, and this is how he treats me. Jesus Christ, man.
I'm talking about everybody else. You got these outros going into whole new topics. You know?
Hey, man.
I hold up my end of the deal.
Hey,
we just love each other that we.
How about Jahi have more structured podcast?
I literally had, and I literally went through every single topic.
Fuck around. This about to be a hentai podcast.
Oh my God. Anywho,
well, yeah.
This is episode 2.
The close this out. Thank you everybody for watching the Degenerates Among Us podcast.
Thank you.
I personally have been Mr. Gamer. Andre, I stream on Twitch every now and so often. I don't have a consistent schedule yet due to work, but I will eventually get one. If you would like more content, talk about more stuff, more specific Resident Evil stuff, you can follow me on pretty much any social media at Mr. Gamer 511. On Twitch, twitch.tv/Mr. Gamer 511. Everybody else, you could find us in the podcast as well. I'm pretty sure everybody else has social media you can follow them on.
No,
you can follow Jahi on Twitter at Mr. Degenerate, correct?
Yes. Thank you.
You can follow him at Mr. Degenerate. Get more info about next time we're going to be putting up podcasts, other info on other gaming.
Look at you, making a big dramatic entrance and stealing my spotlight.
Related stuff and whatnot. But yeah, this has been the Degenerate Among Us podcast. Jahi, take us out.
Okay, we're gone. Peace. Oh, by the way, all the information is down below. Peace. Out. We got.
That's all, folks.
Oh, God.